All right, guys, today we got a special guest. I thought we'd do things different today, but you guys know him as Dr. Khan, aka Lazarus, straight from Detroit, man. You know what I'm saying? He going crazy on the internet right now, got the streets buzzing. Welcome him, man. What up, though?
What up, though, man? Detroit in the building, baby.
How you doing today,
man?
bro?
I'm doing good, bro. Just working, man. Just balancing the medicine with the hip hop like I do, man. It's just like it's a constant balance, my time and my energies, man. This hip hop is crazy, medicine is crazy, and I juggle them both, baby.
I know, man. You're like one of the hardest working people I've ever, known about. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It's crazy, man. It's just I've been doing both my whole life, so it's just kind of like I know when to take the time out to focus on hip hop and when to take the time out to focus on the medicine. Cause it's all about time management. You got to be able to figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. So usually I like to start at the beginning, but we got so much going on that I got to start with the relevant stuff. You just dropped a brand new song with D12 Swifty McVay called
Yes,
Death
sir.
Blow, and you're
Right.
clearly dissing Emiway. Talk to us about the issues with Emiway. Like, how did this even come about?
Man, it's crazy because we had first done a song together. We were in
Lobotomy.
Qatar. Yeah, Lobotomy. We did Lobotomy, bro. And it was great energy. We came together, we did that record. The fans loved it. And it got so much positive reception that, it was just, he was real hip on Detroit, Detroit hip hop and stuff like that. So we was like, why don't we take this further? Why don't we do a whole project together? So then we started talking about doing an album, and that album became Detroit to Anthill, because he's from the place where he's from in Mumbai is called Anthill. So we conveniently came up with the title DTA, which is Detroit to Anthill. Then it was like, I just kind of started to focus on how to put that project together. And I was like, I'm going to try to get the D12 on there, try to get Royce on there, try to get Tech 9 on there and everything like that. And we just started working on it. It was great energies. We was working on it together. And then just, things just started to get in the way of the whole process. First and foremost, it was, we wanted to shoot the videos together. Like, we didn't want to separate the shoots. Like, there was thoughts of us, like me and the guy shooting in Detroit and him shooting in India and stuff like that. But it just didn't work out. He actually wanted to be in Detroit. So that was the thing. So then I was like, you know what? Why don't I step in and help with the visa process? So I got in touch with an immigration lawyer, and we started working on trying to get a visa for him. So that first time that we applied for his visa, it was for him and his team. It was only for like a limited window. It was like a 2-week window. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit difficult with a schedule for him to make it on that first trip. He put money into it. I put money into it. And it just got, it became difficult for him to come at that time. So it was completely understandable. But then what happened after that was I was like, all right, well, I had to reschedule everybody, like Royce, D12, Denon, Tech. Everybody was all scheduled during that window. So I had to call everybody and be like, hey, my bad, this didn't work out. We're going to do this again another time. This time I wanted to be more organized. So I started ahead of time. And that first one was in 23. And the next visa that I applied for him was in 24. So this time I talked to him beforehand and I said, listen, let's do our shoots in Detroit from this window to this window. And this time we applied for a 3-month O1 visa with his team as well. So we got a head start on it to make sure that we get it done on time. And then once he got his visa, the 3-month visa, he started coming up with a whole bunch of stuff like, man, I can't make it to America during this window. I got to go to Finland. And, my girl wants me to do this and that. And then it just started to become convoluted. I'm like, bro, I got all these meetings set up. Like, this is the second time I'm telling these guys to reschedule their time to do these video shoots. Royce is asking me questions. And up until now, too, he sent like a couple verses for the album. And, it just that the verses wasn't cutting it. They weren't cutting it. And then we even talked about him coming over here and we working on the verses together in the studio. Like, we would actually get in the studio at the Emzo studio, Bass Brothers studio, and actually sit down and like make sure the bars hit. You know what I'm saying? Because I really wanted him to sound good on his project, like really good on his project.
What about it wasn't hitting? Was like he wasn't flowing right, or like the lyrics weren't good? Like what exactly?
I think it was a combination of all of those things. And I played it to my team. I played it to D12 dudes and Royce. Everybody, like, they were like, yo, this, yeah, he needed a little work on that. You know what I'm saying? He needed to work on it. So then he had turned around and he was having problems with Royce's verse, and that just threw me off. Like, it was just weird to me, bro. Like, that's Royce the 5'9", bro. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I disregarded all that. I talked to Denon Porter because I was trying to get production from him on an album. And when I reached out to Denon, and Denon and me really started talking a lot, especially after Pale Blue Dot came out, the one I did from Outer Space. And then I was like, look, I got this project with this dude. It's called Detroit to Anthophil. And he's a big artist in India. I really want to do this collaboration with you doing production on it. And then Denon was not keen on that. He was like, let me do something solo for you. Let me give you a solo project that I want to produce for you. So the Scalpel track that came out in 23, that was actually, originally I was trying to get Emiway on the track, but Denon didn't want that at the time. He wanted to just give me a solo record. But then after I insisted, I was like, listen, I really want to get this guy a track, and ultimately he gave me another beat for the DTA project. And I talked to Emiway about that. And then Emiway was just like, I want to do a track with M. Like, I want to do a track with M. I want to do a track with M. I'm like, bro, I got you, bro. But we got to set up the bridge here. We got to get you a connection. We got to get you with Royce. I got you with Bazaar. I got you with Swift. You know what I'm saying? And then I was talking to Tech Nine and getting that whole project together as well. And he kept saying no, it's M. And then he kept coming up with different excuses until, that second visa, when he got it, I was like, you know what? If he don't got the verses done, he's going to get the verses done when he comes to Detroit. And then he's like, no, like, and then, the things started happening with his girl. And bro, like, his girl, bro, is like, she's like, she runs him. She's his boss. Like, I'm talking to dude on the phone and she grabs the phone and she's like, no, he's going to do this. And no, he's going to do that. And just running him, bro. Like, just hitting him with a stick. Like, no, you got to do this. Do it like my way. You got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. No, you can't go to the States. You got to come to Finland. I'm like, bro, can you just like do the Finland trip later? Cause I talked to Royce and we're going to try to take your dedication track to M and try to get that to him. We're going to get this meeting up with Tech Nine. And then we got these video shoots. Like, I set him up. I put all this money into this, bro. And he just disregarded it. He's like, bro, sorry, I can't come.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, right? Because he made some strong accusations saying you stole money from him and everything, but you were actually putting up a lot of bread for these visas, like out of your own pocket.
Right. It was a lot. It was not even just the visas. It was like, even to get the video shoot set up and like in Airbnb, like even Airbnbs that I had like paid for that I wasn't able to get refunds on. Like, there's so many different costs that were put together. Like, I spent upward of 25, maybe 30 grand on a project total,
Damn.
And he did put some money down as well. But I put like about 3 times more money into the project. So when he came with the accusation that I stole, I was like, bro, where's that even coming from? Like, if anything, you stole. But I mean, that's just lame to even talk about that. We both put money into the project. You feel me?
So when you did that first song with him, right? Did
Yeah.
you guys build like a relationship prior to that? Or it was just more of like, this is a little transactional, you saw the outcome?
No. There was no transaction whatsoever for Lobotomy. We actually linked up, and as a producer that linked us together, and it was just mutual love that started that project. It was mutual love. There was no transactional history to that record at all, other than like me flying out to Qatar.
Behind the scenes though, you guys were talking, like it felt
Yeah,
like
everything felt very genuine and cool, man. Everything felt genuine and dope,
So in a way you felt blindsided by this whole thing then,
Yeah.
where it was just like,
100.
wow, like really like Mr. Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
basically,
Well,
like,
so I mean, the thing about it is that once the whole visa thing happened, that really rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, yo, this was the time for this album to happen. And this whole time you gotta understand, I'm going on different interviews and podcasts. Like, I'm putting so much work into it. I'm going on Shade 45. I'm on Who Kids channel. I'm on various different platforms just speaking about and bigging him up. Like, I introduced his name to Royce. I introduced his name to DJ Who Kid. I introduced his name to Denon Porter. I introduced his name to all these people. And it was just like, this dude's thankless. Like, he has no appreciation for all the stuff that I'm doing. And then it was just at the end of the day, it was like, oh, I can't make it to the States. And then further dialogue is like, all right, well, let's continue the project and, let's do it another way. Let's film it in different parts of the world, or let's film it in Dubai or something. And every time he just give me the runaround, just give me the runaround. Like D2 Swift and Bizarre, everybody like, yo, what's up with dude? Like, are we doing this or not? Years going by. The fans are like cussing me every day, like, yo, what's up with this album? Blaming me for it. And it just got frustrating, bro. It got so frustrating. And then ultimately what happened at the end was that he hits me up and he's like, yo, I wanna can you reach out to Tech Nine for this track? I want to get Tech on the record, right? So I reach out to Tech Nine and I'm like, yo, I got this track, with Emiway and this and that. And then Tech was like, yo, this would be great for the three of us to do for the DTA project. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I talked to Emiway about it, and he's like, no, I don't want you on the track. I just want to do it with Tech. And then he starts bringing up, for the first time ever, the countries. He's like, you have Pakistani background, I'm Indian. So then this becomes like a problem all of a sudden. It just threw me for a loop, bro. I never, ever, ever once in my life thought about the factor of me having a Pakistani background and him having an Indian background. So he threw me for a loop. When that came out, I was just shocked, bro. I couldn't believe it that even came out of his mouth, the nationality thing. And after that, then I was like, wait a minute. That means DTA is not coming out. If that's how you feel about me, you should have told me that 3 years ago when we started doing lobotomy. Like, why is this a problem now? So that was just that broke me, bro. When he said that thing about the nationality, I was like, I couldn't believe he went there. And after that, he's like, let's cancel the project. I'm like, cancel the project after everything, all the effort, the time, and everything, just cancel the project. Bro, that shit was terrible, bro.
So you were good enough to help him get features with other people, but you weren't good enough to him in the end to like basically do the entire project with.
Right.
That's the way that he treated the situation.
You want to do the Tech record. He didn't want me a part of it. He didn't want me a part of any project at that point, it seemed like, because he was talking about the countries. And I'm like, yo, now you're talking about countries, like, so basically X Lazarus out of the equation. So that was just terrible, man. That was kind of how that was back in, I think, September of last year when that happened. So then I was like, bro, I have to do something with all this work that I have, bro. Like, Royce sent me verses, bro. Like, Royce the 5'9" ain't dropped a song in like 3 years, bro. I got verses from Royce. I got these dope ass verses from Biz and Tech Nine over here wanting to drop. I'm like, bro, I got records. I got to do something with them now, right? So then I reach out to one of the artists that I was really cool with, Ika from India. And I'm like, I tell him like, hey man, I had this project. Emmy was supposed to be on there, but he's not on the project no more. So would you like to do it? And Ika was like, man, Royce the 5'9" and you together on there with, yeah, that's legendary shit. So he just, Ika jumped right on it, bro, like quick. And it didn't take long. He just boom, boom, got in the studio and sent the verse. I'm like, holy shit. I wish I got something like that quick from Emiway. Like, this is crazy. Like, dude, he was signed to Nas's Mass Appeal India. He's fired, man. But then I was like, all right, cool. So we're gonna drop this record and this will repackage the project with Royce with Ika now. But once the promo started on that record and Emiway found out about the record, man, it just, he just got lit up. He got lit up and he started sending all his bots and trolls and stuff to my page. And they were trying to tell Ika to stop working with me. And then it just got crazy, man. It got ugly after that. And then he went on a live and started trolling me for like 30 minutes or an hour. I don't know how long, but he was
I think it was
trolling
an
me.
hour.
It was an hour. Like, yeah, he just starts trolling to me and start talking about my mustache and talking about this and talking about that. I'm like, bro, where's this dude coming from with all this stuff? Like, where was this energy like for 3 years? Like, now all of a sudden you bringing all this stuff out of here. Like, yo, this is just terrible, man. This is wrong. Like, this dude is weird, man. This dude is terrible. So, I just, once that happened, the record with Ika came out, you know what I'm saying? And people liked it. People genuinely really liked that record, man. And I was like, nah, that he went overboard, man. He went below the belt with the stuff that he was talking about in that live. You know what I'm saying? He went overboard with it. So I'm not even the type of person that like, I'm like, this rap, I come from battle rap, right? Originally.
Right.
But to me, it's like, I didn't want to go that route to diss this guy. Even like for all the time that I felt a certain type of way about his energy and everything, I didn't want to go that route, bro. Like, this is just, we had a really good friendship, bro. I didn't want to go that route. But when he did that trolling that he did on his live, I was like, nah, man, it's like, I'm an MC, bro, and I'm a man. So this is how I defend myself. You don't just talk that shit about me and get away with it, bro. So I got in the lab and I did what I do best. And that's hip hop, bro. I'm an MC and that's what I do. And so I got in the lab and I cooked up, You know what I'm saying? I had the track. Swift was I let Swift know the situation ahead of time. And he was like, yo, Laz, Detroit versus everybody. I got your back. I was like, all right, let's get this. I went to Detroit. We got it done, bro. We put it out. Death Below.
So the song with Royce, right, and Ika. Now you posted, Emiway's original verse on that
Yeah.
song too. So he was originally on the song. You took him off because he didn't want to be a part of DTA anymore, right? And you put Ika on it. Now, for some historical context, Ika in the past has dissed Emiway. So do you think that that's why he kind of felt the type of way? It's like, oh, now you putting this guy on there that dissed me and you rocking with him.
I don't know, it could be, man, because this everybody's dissing everybody in India. That's the way the hip hop scene is over there. Everybody dissing everybody. Is the diss culture in India is like it's like the popular thing to do. Everybody, like Emiway himself, disses every single rapper in India, like every single one. So
Wow.
it's just that's just like that's an everyday thing over there. They
Right.
diss each other. Like there's an artist Divine who just did a he was doing a concert and he didn't even shout out he didn't shout out Emiway. Emiway got mad, did like an 8-minute record on dude. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just the way the culture is over there. They be dissing.
That's crazy, man. So I want to address a few things regarding this beef because you've been receiving a lot of backlash for bringing up his girl in the diss track. Do you think that that overstepped the boundary, or you thought that that was within bounds?
Well, people bring up family and stuff and beefs and battles. Like you've seen it happen with Drake and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? It happens with damn near every battle. But that was not never my intention to bring somebody's family into the equation, man. It's just that she in particular, like she was a big obstacle in the DTA process. Like she was a big hindrance. And me and her talked a lot. So it's not like we're talking about a random family member here that, I had no interaction with whatsoever. Like she would like grab the phone from dude and talk to me. Like there's times where I spoke to her like for long periods of times about certain conflicts and issues that were going on. And there was even an immigration issue, which I'm not covering going into right now, but it wasn't just me picking at a random family member. I'll just put it to you like that.
Right. And it's not like you said something like crazy
Yeah, I
disrespectful.
did. Now, I referenced something that was dirty that another artist said, Krishna, but I didn't say nothing like that. No, no, I didn't do that.
Right. And then now the accusation is that you disrespected India as a whole and everything, and that's kind of like the angle that is being pushed right now towards you.
Yeah, that to me, that's hilarious, man. Because first and foremost, man, I love India. I love my fans from there. Some of my best friends are from India. I've always supported artists from India. The truth of the matter is, bro, my man got his ass kicked in the rap. You know what I'm saying? He got the Jake Paul, he got the jaw broke, you know what I'm saying? And now he's trying to find some angle against me. So what had happened was because I seen his live that he just did, right? And he's talking about some army general and this, and I'm like, what is he talking about? So then he's like, Lazarus pinned some comment. So there was like a sea of hate comments that was coming on. You seen it, right? All the bots and the trolls on the comments.
Right.
So what me and my team was doing, we was trying to find any comment that was even remotely positive. We're just pinning them, pinning them. And when we pinned a comment, there were so many troll comments that the people that wrote those original comments had to take them down because they're like, their families were getting trolled and their friends and followers were getting trolled on Instagram. So it was just something we just pin a comment, take it down, pin a comment, take it down. So when he starts breaking down a comment that was pinned and he's saying that, oh, it says something about chai, like someone drinking tea and something like that. I didn't never paid no mind to that. And he's talking about, oh, there was some general in India who did this and that. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what the hell that was about. I don't even know about that story. So if that bothered somebody and was misleading, of course, I want to apologize if that misled anybody because that was never my intention to offend any country. Matter of fact, I've always and only promoted unity in my entire career in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a record called Break the Walls. You know what I'm saying? Where I say countries want to build walls and I break them down. I've showed support to so many artists from India throughout the years, man. So for calling me being against India is just preposterous. He needs an angle, bro. My man got his jaw cracked in the verse, bro. And he trying to find something. He didn't say one thing about my bars on that whole live. He didn't say one thing about the music or about what I said to him in the song or use even any words that came out of my mouth. He's trying to find, oh, some fan wrote something and though Laz liked it or pinned it or this and that. Like he's trying to find some kind of angle, bro, because he knows he lost. He knows he got his ass kicked, man. So like I said, stop it, Jake. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? This
So
is
you
hip
feel
hop,
like
boy.
he's doing like the low hanging fruit right now, basically.
What's that?
You feel like he's like going after the low hanging fruit,
Yeah,
pretty
bro.
much.
Think about it. Let me ask you that question. If out of all the things that was said to him in that rap, in that battle, in the verse that I spit on that track, he's pulling a comment from some fan in the comment section that talked about some general or something, 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 and he's trying to use some angle, somehow, some way to spin that and turn me into somebody that hates India. Does that make
Yeah,
sense to you?
that's that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And now he's trying to set the narrative so hard that he's trying to tell the public, he's like, ban Lazarus in India, ban him, ban him, ban him. He just butthurt that I kicked his ass, bro.
Well, are you prepared now for him to release a diss track? Because he says he's working on one, right?
Shit, I've been waiting for it, bro. It's been what? It's been more than 3 days. It's gonna be 4 days tomorrow. Dog, he should have had that ready in 24 hours, man. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody like, yo, he don't he not, you know what I'm saying? And when he do, he gonna try to bring this falsification into it. He gonna try to bring this falsification into it. He gonna be like, oh, he hates my country. Let me get my country to all back me up because he just whooped my ass with the bars. We don't want to talk about the bars. We don't want to talk about hip hop. Let's talk about hip hop, boy. Let's talk about the bars, boy. Why are we talking about countries, bringing politics? Why are you spending this into politics, bro? This is about hip hop, bro. This is about MCing. I come from Detroit, bro. Detroit versus everybody. We don't do this petty shit, bro. We get in the mic and we spit bars. We don't go on vlogs talking nonsense, bro.
So, what's the chances of you guys squashing this?
I don't see that happening, bro. He took it too far. He went too far when he went trolling on the live, when he started saying all that stuff about me. He went overboard. He went overboard. It was like, that was it.
Do you feel like you got like kind of hurt in a way from that situation because you had respect for him and you thought that you guys actually had like somewhat of a friendship?
We did for 3 years. We was on and off talking. I mean, if you look at our conversations that we had in the 3 years, it's always been nothing but brother this, brother that. I've always shown the nicest side of me, and he showed the nice side of himself to me. You know what I'm saying? So we always talked, and it was just that he kept stalling and kept stalling and stalling, but I kept giving him a chance. I kept saying no. Even there was times earlier within the 3 years that we were gonna, I was thinking, should I walk away from this or should we stop this? I was like, nah, man, the fans want this album too bad. I'm gonna do everything in my power to try to make it happen.
It seems like you're really confused by this whole situation more than anything. Like, why did it have to come to this?
Right. It did, because this is not, I'm not the type, see, again, I'm not the type of rapper to just pick up the pen and start beefing with people. That's just not who I am, bro. I did a song. First of all, I'm a doctor. You know that, right? So
Right.
I work, I see my patients. And when I do the music that I do, like I just did a record with Rakim, bro, the God MC. I did a record called Pale Blue Dot from that, I worked in collaboration with NASA on, bro. And like my whole thing is like, I'm not trying to get myself into like petty shit, and going into this is just, it was forced upon me, bro. And I had to pick up the sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And you got the internet buzzing right now. It's been going crazy. A lot of people.
Hey, man, but like I said, man, to finish that topic, man, shout out to all my fans in India, all my fans in Pakistan, and all fans in all countries around the world, man. Unity, hip hop, that's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. And this dude is going to try to remote control this and try to turn all these people against me and this, that, and the other, man. But this dude, he just got his ass handed to him, man, and he got no other way.
And I've seen that the reaction channels have been really picking this up, right?
Yeah,
So like,
so there's a discrepancy between the reaction channels and the actual comments than the bot comments that you see actually on the post. And that to me, I think needs to be noted. Why is it that in the reactions, everybody is so favorable towards the track when they actually listen to the bars in the reaction videos? Like No Life Shack just went up, you know what I'm saying? And versus the comments are all one-sided and they're all like, oh, like he hates India, he hates India, he hates India, da, 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 just whatever rhetoric that he's trying to force feed to his public, his audience.
Yeah, man. Well,
I just hope there's people out there that have a brain for themselves. That's all.
yeah.
And they can look at my track record. Look at my track record, man. Look at the records I've done. Look at the artists I've collaborated with from India. You know what I'm saying? Check out my song Break the Walls. Just I've never in my life ever, ever, ever said one derogatory thing towards India, ever. Find one.
I just really hope that it could be more about hip hop. Like if it's like
That's what I'm
competitive,
talking about.
yeah, if
Like,
it's competitive and it is healthy like that, that's cool. But like once it starts to spill into this other stuff, we're creating a bigger issue that is unnecessary, you know,
right. Absolutely. And it's like now it's like we want to ban him and we want to talk to agencies and this and that. It's like, bro, why don't we just stick to the mic, bro? Like, keep it hip hop, boy.
for
What you
sure,
doing?
man. Any last thoughts about it?
Not really, man. I just like I said, I know I can't trust a lot of the people that are commenting because I think a lot of them are fake accounts. I think even my team looked at it and said a lot of these accounts are not even real accounts that are commenting about this stuff. I just hope the people that are out there, the real people, you know what I'm saying, the real individuals who have a brain, they can see that this is the most, nonsensical thing ever to pin on me, somebody like myself.
For sure. All right, man. So I want to start at the beginning and get your backstory. So you were born in Detroit, but your family is from Pakistan. Which part of Pakistan?
Yeah, so my father is from a city called Sargodha in the Punjab side, and my mom is from the kind of like the opposite side, which is the Sindh side, and she's from a city called Karachi.
And you grew up with one brother?
Yeah, I had one older brother and a younger sister.
Okay. What did your parents do for work?
So my father originally, when he came to Detroit, he only had like $50 in his pocket, man. So he was a janitor in the beginning, but he ended up going to school and getting an engineering degree. So he ended up becoming an engineer for a motor company.
And your mom was
She was a housewife.
awesome. So she's taking care of the family, holding things down, man.
Yeah.
What was the dynamic like in the family, like your parents' relationship with each other and your relationship with your parents?
Um, it was good. It's like my mom was always supportive of whatever I wanted to do. My father was a little bit on the abusive side, you know what I'm saying? And it was verbally, physically, like he was very like he was very kind of adamant, strict kind of father, man. He was a little on the deep end, off on the deep end. But it made us who we are, though. My father made us who we are because he was very strong, strong character, very bold individual. But he didn't take shit from nobody.
Right. How do you think that affected you growing up in that kind of environment?
I mean, I feel like, and because my father always had this thing, right? And obviously, this played a big part of me becoming a physician too. Is that he was like, in this country, they're not going to treat us right, and we're not going to be able to have the same opportunities that other people have. But there's certain things that you could do to, to become successful in this country. And one of the things that he put a lot of emphasis on is like school education and becoming somebody like a physician, a doctor was like the ultimate. But ultimately, like, I went to when I was doing schooling and all that stuff, I was just trying to stay focused on that, and
Mhm.
ultimately I got a presidential scholarship to go to Wayne State, downtown. And that was, I did that off of just the grades that I was getting. I did it off the, my own strength. So it's like my pops didn't pay for that. I got it. I got a scholarship that got me to, Wayne State University. And that's where I really started to develop myself of who I am.
Right. How would you describe yourself as a child? Like, were you really quiet? You
I was
social?
really quiet, man. I was really low key. Like I was never like in front of a lot of people. I was real low key, quiet. There's a lot of like domestic stuff going on in my household, and my brother like going in and out of jail. My brother was like, had a lot. He's a fighter.
Right.
He's a prize fighter, and he's fighting, but he was battling alcoholism, and he's getting in a lot of fights and stuff out in and out of the ring, and in and out of jail. So that affected me a lot too. Like when I see my brother go through those things, it just made me feel like, yo, what are the do's and don'ts of living, right? Like you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And with my brother, it was like he kind of like paved the way for me. Like I knew kind of like, okay, stay away from these things. Like do this, don't do this. So I was always just studying everyone around me. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like that put more pressure on you though to be the one to succeed to fulfill like your parents
It
like
did.
you
It
know?
did because like anytime like people were calling out his faults, like, oh, he did this and now he has to go to jail. And it made me feel like, no, then what do I have to do be the opposite? What do I have to do to save the situation? And it was, to me, it was always like, man, just focus on school and just keep your head down and just get through it. And I got in fights here and there too because I had people, kids even like say stuff to me like, what's up with that saying on your face or this and that. And like I got in fights, but I was real low key, man. I didn't really break out of my bubble until I was in college. And
Got you.
that was at Wayne State. That was when I really broke out of my bubble, and I broke out of my bubble in a crazy way.
What was your sister like growing up with you guys? Was she
She
like
was
on
also
this?
real low key and quiet. She was real low key. It was the one that was the most flamboyant in the family was my older brother. He was the one that was just the loud guy and just going around like, yo, who want to pick a fight with me? Like, yo, I'm gonna kick your ass. And my brother was the one that taught me that like you don't take shit from nobody. Like if somebody's talking about you or somebody disrespecting you, because being Pakistani-American, it was kind of like you get picked on and my brother was like, somebody pick on you, just punch him. Like he was like on that tip,
Right.
He's like, don't. I was like, he's like fighter, you walk away or you fight. He's like, no, you don't walk away. Because everyone says you walk away from conflict. You don't walk away from conflict. You take it on and you fight the dude and you kick his ass. Like that was the vibe he always gave me.
Got you. So which part of Detroit did you grow up in?
The west side of Detroit.
And did your parents ever say like why they decided to immigrate to Detroit specifically?
Because the prospect of engineering was there. It's the Motor City, man, the Motown.
Right.
Yeah, and at that time, you got to understand, you got GM, you got Chrysler, you got Ford, you know what I'm saying? So they had the opportunities over there for the engineering.
For sure. What was it like for you growing up in Detroit as a first generation Pakistani American?
It was very lonely. It was very lonely because it was just kind of like, I always have that conflict. I'm not from this. I'm like, I felt like, am I from this country? Am I from that country? And like even in the household, we spoke in Urdu, so it was just always kind of like, at that time there was the racism in Michigan was a lot worse than what it's become now. It's like everything is a melting pot. But at that time it was tough, man. It was I dealt with a lot of racism. That was even leading up to 9/11. After 9/11, things got crazy.
Right.
But I dealt with a lot of just kind of being feeling outcast, man. So that's why like when I listened to hip hop was the only thing really that gave me the remedy. When I used to listen to like NWA, Wu-Tang and stuff in my early days, that's what I was like, yo, this is actually making me feel good, making me feel, like I felt that rebellious thing, like I'm an outcast, but when I listen to hip hop, it's like I feel like I belong. You know what I'm saying?
So the demographics of where you lived, was it primarily like black
There was
or
it was there's such a melting pot there. You got whites in areas, then you got the Arabs. So there's a big Arab population. Dearborn is close there, a very big Arab Muslim population. So that was actually really cool and comforting to see that, growing up, but and then obviously you had blacks. So you had all yeah, I dealt with a lot of races growing up.
Mhm. And how do you think that impacted you though? But there wasn't a lot of Pakistani Americans there though.
Very few and far between. Yeah. But they all kind of lived in the shadows. They never really came out like that. They was just all kind of like just doing they work and not really trying to break out. You know what I'm saying? They're just minding their own business.
So this next question is a two-parter. What is the first hip hop song you ever heard, and what hip hop song do you feel changed your life and made you want to rap?
The first hip hop song I ever heard, man, I can't remember what the first one I ever heard was, man, because the first hip hop song I ever heard,
Or
man, I
one
might
of
have to,
them?
one of them,
Yeah.
man. Shoot, I when I really got into like probably when I was bumping Eazy-E, like I was really into Eazy-E in the start. That was one of my first favorite rappers, Eazy-E back when the NWA days, and that was that definitely was one of the first MCs first artists that I really loved.
And then what like song or rapper do you feel like made you really want to rap?
Okay, that conversation goes into now. We definitely going into Wu-Tang territory now because I was the biggest Wu head ever. You know what I mean? Like Inspector Deck and Jizza, those two. Yeah, Inspector Deck and Jizza. And even Method Man. Actually, I got introduced to Wu through Tikal, so I was listening to Method Man first. But when I got collectively like started listening to all the Wu-Tang records, it was the Jizza and it was Inspector Deck that made me actually want to rap. Because when I listened to their raps and I listened to what like the vocabulary and what they were bringing, that made me want to pick up the pen.
So outside of Wu-Tang, what were your early musical influences growing up that like really helped shape your style and everything?
Well, I mean, I listened to a lot of like stuff. I listened to a lot of like there was, you got the soul genre, like that I listened to a lot. I just listened to a lot of different type of music, even like Pakistani music. Like as an artist, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who did a certain type of Pakistani music. I listened to a lot of different sounds. But as far as like what influenced me, I think that I'm heavily influenced from Wu-Tang. I'm heavily influenced by Nas, from M. Because when I came out was when M was really taking off. So that's when I started. I was doing the battles at the time when M was first starting to take off. And so yeah, so he had a big impact on me too. Because just watching he opened the door. You know what I'm saying? He opened the door for every Detroit artist to think that we could actually take this hip hop and we could take it to the rest of the world. And he demonstrated that. He showed that. And obviously Slum Village. I love Elzai to death. You know what I'm saying? He's amazing, and he's a big supporter of mine as well. Slum Village is great, but when D12 and Eminem took the scene, Forest of 5'9" was over.
Right. So Eminem definitely paved the way for Detroit hip hop, but also with him being a white rapper, he really changed the perspective in hip hop. I think more on a wide level of like, rappers that are not black being accepted,
Yeah.
So how do you
Big inspiration. Big
right.
inspiration to me. Big inspiration. I took so much inspiration from that, bro.
So
So much.
what was your first reaction when you heard him like rhyme for the first time?
When I first I actually had got a chance to hear some of the Infinite stuff before like his the My Name Is came out. So when My Name Is came out, I it took me for a loop because I was like, is this the same dude that did the Infinite? And it was just kind of like it threw me off a little bit because I was like, damn, he really changed his style up from where he was rapping at that point to this point. And so that was a little bit confusing to me. But when I heard the album, it was like, no, it's a rap. And then I heard his song Role Model on the Slim Shady LP, and I was like, no, this dude is insane, bro. This dude is insane.
I know, but Infinite is so classic too, though. I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
people
I
don't.
like because it's the rhyme schemes, man. That's what I'm all about too. Like the multi-layering, the layering of the rhymes, the multi-syllable schemes and stuff.
Right.
I'm such a fan of that right there, man. And that's why I love Rakim so much, man. And Cool G Rap. Like I love when people layer their bars. Like when you could see their sentences and you could see like 8-syllable schemes, 7, 8-syllable rhyme schemes, because I do that a lot. And I love that shit.
Yeah, you're I can tell you're a real big fan of the technical aspect of
I
it, you
love
know what
it.
I mean?
I love it.
Because like even when
Flow
you
switches, everything.
right, but like even when you break down like the song Infinite, like the way that he goes, my pen and paper cause a chain reaction to get your brain relaxing, like
Yeah.
just the way that
Mm.
he does like the flow right there, the syllables right there is crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And Royce too. Royce 5'9", man. You know what I'm saying? Bad Meets
Legends.
Evil. Legendary.
Legends for sure.
That's
So, what year did you start rapping?
2000.
2000. And this was at your friend Ben's house that he threw on some
Yeah.
instrumentals?
Yeah. My friend Ben. Yeah, exactly. We so I had my friend Ben was over there, man, in a Redford area, man. So I used to go to his crib and we used to have like this little tape deck, and we used to play like instrumentals on there and just start freestyling over it, and just writing rhymes to it and stuff like that. It was like originally the rhymes was terrible, but I was like I just got in university and I was studying biology, so I started putting a lot of the biological words into the rhyme and stuff, trying to be like Wu-Tang, the way they putting their scientific bomb atomically, all that stuff, all that, trying to do all that. So I was like just having fun with it. And that was all it was, man. On the weekends we would do that. And then what really happened was when I was in Wayne State and I started seeing the ciphers around the campus, right? So people coming around and doing starting ciphers in there. One time, like my boy Ben was with me, and he was just like, "Yo, man, why don't we jump in a cipher?" I'm like, "Bro, why we gonna embarrass ourselves?" You know what I'm saying? So we jumped in the cipher, and it was fun, and I got bars off, and then people was giving me props for it. I'm like, damn, they actually liked what I spit. I'm like, damn, I thought they was gonna laugh at me. And it just built from that. It just became something I did. Like when I was not in the classroom, I get up in the cipher. I'm like, yo, let me spit some bars, and it just
So
developed from
wait,
there.
wait, 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 wait. You mean to tell me that in high school and before you weren't rapping?
No, no, I started rapping when I was in. Well, I was I was very hardcore into listening to hip hop, but I didn't actually rap until right before college.
No, it's just it's kind of mind blowing because it's like usually, you know, people start so early and then like that's why they're a lot better, you know what I mean? But like for you to start so late and be as good as you are, it's pretty
Yeah.
insane, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I picked it up and I really I studied. I had such strong knowledge of hip hop leading into when I started rapping. But then when I just picked it up, man, and when I was on the ciphers and doing all the stuff, and then they said, hey, like 95.5 and WJOB have radio battles and freestyle battles. And I was like, damn, can I muster up enough courage to actually go on a radio station and battle? And I ended up doing radio battles, you know, in Detroit and started winning them, became battle champ, freestyle Fridays and all that stuff. And then that's when I started to become popular. I up until this point in my life, I've been a loner, like just very low key, not, you know, not ever around a lot of people. But once the word got out that, oh, that dude on campus was on the radio, he's the one I heard on the radio that beat this and got this guy and that guy.
That was
And
against
then,
like Pen Assassin and stuff like that.
yeah, I just, you heard some of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pen Assassin. Yeah, Pen Assassin, other trademark, and I don't know who else,
Yeah,
J
because you had
Hustle.
like the early mixtapes where you had your songs on there and then
Hmm.
some of the battles on there too. You had your
Yeah.
website, your phone number,
Uh-huh.
yo, that shit was crazy.
Everything, bro. I was crazy with the promo, bro. Me and my boys, we would just have flyers stacked up. We start putting it on people's cars. We putting it on tables. We just like, we was going crazy. We're like, we gonna promote the hell out of this. Like, cause at that point in time, I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper and I'm not gonna do doctor. The medicine is done. It's like, I'm just a rapper now. Like I kind of went into that world where I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be a rapper. It just so happened that I was just doing very, very well in school at the same time. I was in my organic chemistry, my biology courses, and I was doing very, very well. And, you know, it just, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at that time. I was like, I'm close to like continuing on this path to be a doctor, but we're doing really good as a rapper. Doing shows now, started doing gigs around and recording mixtapes.
So Wayne State, that's like your before med school, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing like your first like your bachelor's there before you go, and you got a
Right.
full ride going there straight out of high school
Yeah.
because you were like a
Right.
straight A
So
student.
yeah, you could say that. And it was a bachelor's degree in biology that I was doing in Wayne State. And I maintained a high GPA. I would think my GPA was like 3.97 or 3.98. So, something about me is that I'm very, very, very meticulous about everything I do. Like the same meticulousness that you hear in the bars is how I'm with the medicine because like I'm the type of person that wants to get the highest grade in the class. And if it's not the highest grade in the class, like I don't want to do it. Like I want to be if I'm doing something, I want to be the best at it.
Right.
So I've always had that mentality, bro.
So what were you recording on early on? Like, were you actually going to the studio? I know you want some studio
No, and originally,
from the battles.
no, originally I was recording on just like a random bootleg ass mic. But then my boy Prophet, who just passed away, rest in peace to my brother Prophet, man.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he actually told me to come to his crib and he had professional equipment. And I started recording my second mixtape at his house and like a lot of my future recordings at his place where the sound was a lot cleaner. And so that was until I built with Ivy Duncan, which was the guy who was engineering Royce the 5'9",
Right.
and I started working with him heavily. And my first whole album was with him.
How did the internet help you early on, do you feel like?
The internet at that time was real simple. Like I had a website, it was like Lazarus-Detroit.com or something
Right.
like that. And I had like been able to upload songs on it. So it was just kind of like me telling people, like, yo, check out my website. I got my music on there. So it was like easier than people just grabbing a CD from you and listening to the CD. Like you can also go to the website and listen to the music. It helped, but it wasn't that sophisticated at that time. Like the internet was still pretty simple in the early 2000s, you know?
So during that time, were you like heavily utilizing, you know, MySpace, SoundClick, or like those type of
Yeah,
things?
all of that, all of that. I was doing all of that stuff. MySpace was heavy at that time.
Yeah,
So
got you.
yeah, I was heavy on the MySpace for sure. You know, I dropped my first major music video that I shot was like 2007 for a song I did, Let the Game Know. That's really what took things off a lot. Cause I started so I think it was like 2005 when I went into medical school. So I got into Michigan State. And that's when I was like, okay, now I gotta figure this out. Cause everybody's like, you can't rap no more, bro. You're gonna go to medical school. And I was studying with the whole group of people, right? And everybody wanted to get into medical school, and like 90% of them didn't get in. But I got in, because I was working really hard, but they didn't see that because they're like, we're studying 24 hours. You're out here rapping and shit, and how did you get in? And we didn't get in. So there was a lot of that. And it was just like, bro, if you turn down medical school, like you're an idiot. you know, like how you gonna turn down medical school? So I was like, damn, like, so that means I gotta turn down hip hop. They're like, yeah, bro, when you're in medical school, you can't talk to your family, bro. It's like that's how crazy it is. Like, you're gonna be working 80 hours a day.
So when you were at Wayne State, that's when you did the Lazarus DVD?
Yeah, I was at Wayne State. I did the Lazarus DVD.
That
I
was like
did.
2003, right?
Yeah, I was up all on that. In that DVD, you could see me on campus and how many people around I had. At all times, I had like 5, 10 people around me. At all times, there's 5, 10 different people every time. I was like that, and they said on there, I'm the man on campus. Like everywhere I went, there was crowds of people around me, and I'm starting ciphers. I'm doing battles. I'm here. I'm there. Like all of that.
Man, there's even footage of you battling your anatomy professor, Professor
Yeah,
Stevenson.
damn. You really went down into details with it, man. Exactly. And my anatomy professor, you know what I'm saying? Like, he actually hit me like one time I was in class. He said, I saw you rapping outside. And I felt really uncomfortable because he's just like this old dude. And you never think that he was like, I was watching, I was like, he was like, I really like the way that you were rhyming in that cipher and this and that. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you know, we were just talking about anatomy and now you talking about, he's like, why don't you battle me in the classroom? I'm like, what? So I literally just freestyled that. I started rapping about medical stuff. And, you know, it's crazy because I started doing a lot more of that later too. Like when I would actually teach in seminars and lectures when I was in medical school with rhymes and medicines put together.
But like you had like the whole class laughing in that scene, and also like the way that you were breaking it down using the medical terminologies, talking about like his heart pacing and just like everything. It was crazy, bro. Like that was
Yeah,
insane. But during the early 2000s, you were being featured a lot on DetroitHipHop.com, right?
that's right. That's right.
Like, how did that come about? Was it due to all the battles, or what was?
The battles, the buzz, the hype, you know, just my name was getting around, bro. And I was just linking up with so many people. Like I was everywhere. Like I was at the Magic Stick at Alvin's, you know what I'm saying? Lush Lounge. We so many different spots around Detroit. Like I was everywhere, bro. Like when I was not on campus studying, I was somewhere in Detroit. Passing flyers around. I was at Hart Plaza, passing flyers around or battling or doing a cipher or an open mic or somewhere. So I met so many people. I met so many connections in that time, just kind of being out mingling. And I saw Proof, oh, rest in peace, brother Proof right there, man. That's how I met Proof, man. I was around and I saw Proof at various different spots, like over and over again. And you know, he got wind of me. He listened to mixtapes that I had, and even he saluted me, supported me. He even came to one of my shows that I did at Twisters, man, and showed me a lot of love.
And this is when D12 is already had
Yeah,
crazy
D12
success.
is D12 is on fire right now.
Wow. And so like Proof was just really that humble guy, man.
He
That
was that humble guy, and he always was at the spots. You know what I'm saying? At the different spots, he just come and showing love to the underground rappers, man. And that's something I really saluted him for. And then even Swifty McVay, who we just saw in the video, Swifty McVay was a judge for a lot of the battles that I did. So he actually judged. I have a video clip where I'm battling a dude, and Swifty McVay's like Lazarus, Lazarus. You know, so I'm like, damn, that's crazy because I'm so young in that video, bro, and you could see Swift, and that's when Swift was on like tour with probably for Devil's Night or D12 World or something like that.
right, for sure, man. So you knew like from like elementary school already that you wanted to be a doctor.
Kind of, sort of, yeah, I guess you could say that because you know around that time in that early phase, you know, my it was like when my grandmother died from diabetes. That was a big inkling for me, like, you know, why did she die, and you know, is what do doctors do and how do they save people and how could I save somebody? So there was that. And then that in combination with my, you know, my father always saying that, you know, being a doctor is how you achieve success in America. So, and to seeing what was going on with my brother, I was like, you know, it all kind of led me in that pathway, man. And I just became, you know, became a passion.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite songs of yours is Life is like a cigarette smoke, too short, you never
Okay.
know
Damn.
when you're
Yeah.
gonna
First
go.
album.
You know,
That's right.
because the way you talk about feeling conflicted growing up of what your dad went through to come here and your brother wanted to be a boxer, you wanted to be a
Yeah.
rapper, you know, like it was just like very brutally honest about like when you have the parents that are you know, immigrants, you know, they're coming to this country and they sacrifice everything and they're coming from conditions that like most Americans cannot even imagine, like third world countries, and just like being in a place of lack, you know, they want you as their kids to like choose these illustrious careers that are like in medicine or in law or something like a, to be able to provide and be successful in a different kind of way. And I feel like that song really encompasses how like a child would feel being conflicted of doing your passion versus like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is the quote
It's so
unquote
crazy. I
realistic
haven't
thing?
heard that song. I haven't heard that song in so long, but it's now that I think about it, it's like I'm that was the time period in my life. You know how like music captures that period of time? Like
Right.
that was the time period in my life where I didn't know if I was gonna be a doctor or a rapper.
Yeah, exactly.
So now to reflect back on it now, it's just insane because I remember how I felt at that time. I'm like, can I be a doctor and a rapper? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do both. But you know, that's fantasy thinking. But this is where I'm at today. You know?
Mhm. And growing up as a minority, especially during your time, there was a lack of representation in mainstream American media.
Absolutely.
What was that
Yeah,
like
now
for you?
you see South Asians popping up all over different areas, but at that time it was non-existent.
Right.
So that was it was even like my father and stuff, he'd be like, there's no single link. Cause then when he got wind of me doing rap and hip hop and stuff, he's like, there's no example of anybody like that in any entertainment field. So you're literally like, it's impossible. You know, so that was a big thing because it was just like, how do you fight? How do you fight that? Like, how do you tell somebody that I'm gonna be the first to do something or I'm gonna do it, you know, when nobody else in the world could do it, but I'm gonna do it, you know? So that was kind of a big obstacle that was always in front of me, but it was also a driving force to me because it was like, nah, man, I'm too passionate. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get there.
So how did your dad feel about you doing that as your passion? Like, did he like
Not
tell you?
he didn't he was originally he was very against it because if he thought that would get in the way of me doing the medicine and things like that, he'd be like, "Nah, you're gonna throw your life away. You're gonna you're gonna be like your brother, and you're not gonna be able to do this and that." And he said all that, you know, and he was really he did not support it, you know. And then well, once I showed up when I was a doctor, and all that talk went away.
And your mom always supported you no matter what you
Yeah, she
wanted.
always wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah, I love my
So
mom.
that was a great balance for you to have like the two different sides, I guess, instead of it
Yeah,
being
but at the same time, I love my dad too because it had it not been for him pushing me the way he did, then I wouldn't have ended up where I'm at right now too. And I'm so grateful to have my medicine, not only because my passion for medicine, but because it gives me an independent standing where, you know, later down the road when I'm talking to record companies, I don't have to be a slave to them because I could do things on my own, you know, and do it my way
right, for sure.
because I have the ability to have that backing now.
Now, I know during the time that you were hearing him say it, you might have felt different, but
Yeah.
looking back in retrospect.
Looking back, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's one of those, man. So it's a part of growing up, man. It's part of life. You know, you certain things you don't understand at certain times, but then later you do.
Mhm. Now, 9/11 was a very bad day for me, the brown lyricist, because everywhere I went, they called
Everywhere I
me a
went, they called
terrorist.
me a terrorist. That one, I would say that song really, 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 really jumped me up in when I was at Wayne State when I dropped that because that was right after 9/11. And the tensions was so crazy. Like you don't understand, like all the South Asians and all the Muslims, you know, that were in the area, they were getting they were getting hounded, bro. Like mosques was throwing the glasses were being broken, people breaking in, doing all types of stuff, vandalism, people spray painting like even my pops's car, like you know, all types of stuff. And it was very bad, bro. The sentiment was very bad. And when I released that to my campus, the audience that I had on Wayne State campus, and there was a lot of minorities there, it was like medicine to them. They were like, "Oh my God, like this makes us feel like, oh, you know, we actually have." You know that feeling you get where like that relief, like, man, I'm constantly getting bullied for this and this and that. And this guy's speaking about our pain now.
They
You know what I'm
felt
saying? He's
seen.
speaking about our struggle. Yeah, our struggle. And then when I 9/11 was a very bad day for me, the brown lyricist, because everywhere I went, they called me a terrorist. And then when that came out on the Watcher beat, everybody was bumping that shit on campus, bro. Everybody.
And that's, it's a really sad thing because during that time, like once 9/11 happened, people told you like, "Oh, there goes your rap career. Now you're never going to be
Mhm.
accepted in hip hop."
Right. Yeah. I got told you can't do this, you can't do that so many times in my life, bro. If I had to tally it at, it would probably be like to the moon and back. For real, like people, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just crazy, man.
I saw this video of you. I think it was from probably the 2003 documentary, right? The Lazarus DVD one. And you got the white bandana on. It's very Tupac of you. But you were
Yeah,
saying like ever since 9/11, people associated being Muslim with being a terrorist or a villain, or you're like the bad guy of society. And Islam is really a religion of peace. You know what I mean? You said
right,
people would
right.
walk up to you and say, look at what your people did, or they would treat you like you're not as good as everyone else, or told you like, what are you doing in our country? But you're like, I'm born
Mhm.
here, like I'm American, you know?
Right.
It's very sad because I feel like so many times in our country there are situations that happen, and then it's like everyone needs someone to blame,
Right.
you know? So I'll even like you on that first album, you had that song with the bad guy, right? And you
Hmm.
talk a little bit about that. So what was it like for you internalizing all of that hatred that was coming your way?
It was, it showed me that hip hop was the therapy for me. And it was like like when I listened to Wu-Tang and when I listened to NWA, like how it made me feel growing up and it just kind of uplifted me. Now it was me recording and telling my story that uplifted me. That was what made me feel like whatever struggle I'm going through, whatever pain I'm going through, when I expressed it on the mic and put it out there, it was just kind of like I took that pain and whatever thing I was dealing with, and I was able to just manifest a cure for it.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt, bro. And I feel like when the people heard it, like that, I'm America's number one bad guy. That's me. And I put that out. Like anybody who felt like that, it was like, man, I just listened to this and now I feel good about myself.
do you feel like in America that other minority issues are not discussed as much, or they're like more dismissed by the masses?
I think every minority probably has their issues, has their struggles. Everyone's got their struggles, man. But as I grow older, man, I used to be a time where I used to say, man, what a bad upbringing or what a bad thing that happened to me in this time and that time. But there's no bad thing, bro. Everything is good.
Mm,
Everything makes you a part. Everything is responsible for making you who you are. If I didn't have those things, then I wouldn't be out here rapping and on the mic and expressing myself. I would have been probably something else, some low key just loser. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting
right.
around. You know what I mean? Like for the fact that I had these moments happen in my life, the fact that I had these hard situations that I had to deal with, made it interesting for me to express myself and become and mature as an MC and as a rapper. And I feel like it just defined who I became. And now I feel like there's a definition to everything that happened to me in my life and why it happened. And it was all to eventually turn me into Lazarus, who
Right.
I am.
So in 2006, you actually had a documentary made about you on the Discovery Channel. It was called Only in America, The Real 8 Mile.
Correct.
You were like, what, one of three MCs that were
Yeah,
selected, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
explored you studying in medical school at the time while rapping. How did this opportunity come about?
So I was actually in anatomy and physiology at the time, and I already like super deep into my medical studies, and I was like my first semester at medical school at Michigan State. And one of my singles was playing, I think the song's called That's the Man. I was playing on JOB. And so the Discovery Channel was doing a documentary and they were asking the radio station about, the local talent because this is after 8 Mile came out and they wanted to get the scoop on some MCs from Detroit. So they pulled up a panel of people and they said this dude is on his singles playing right here. They heard it and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, this dude is actually in medical school right now." He's like, that they were like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, he's a Pakistani and he's in medical school and he's got a single playing over here." They're like, "No, that's a story right there." They're like, so they reached out to me. I was over there and I was almost like gave up on rap at that time. I'm like, okay, rap is just taking a back seat for who knows how long, but it wasn't long because I got the call and they're like, "Oh, we want to do this documentary on me." And I'm pulling my hair out. I'm like, "Bro, I got no time for this." I'm talking to people that, "Bro, you got to do it. You got to do it. Get that exposure." So I did it. And then they came to Michigan State. They filmed me over there. They filmed me in Detroit. I had my uncle in there. Rest in peace to Uncle Mahmood. My uncle. He's one of my biggest supporters, man. We was out there and yeah, it was dope. I was on JOB too with MC Search. you know, on a radio station. They
Right.
had all of that in the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. It seemed like your uncle was like one of your biggest like influences in
Yeah.
your life. Like he was like saying he wanted you to be both a doctor and a rapper because that's what you wanted to
Yeah.
do, you know?
Yeah, he was one of those. Yeah, he was one of those in my life that really, really wanted me to do what I wanted to do. Like he was there was very few people, like obviously you like my brother, my mother, my uncle, they really saw me being able to do everything. And then I had my close homies in Detroit, and shout out to all the closest like Ben, my man Maximus, Biggs, and Dre Higgins, Andre Higgins, like the whole squad, man. Like so many people in Detroit that I was rocking with, man. They just supported me, man, to this day. You know.
Yeah, man. And so like what was your reaction when you got that call though? Like were you like super shocked that this was happening?
I was. I thought it was fake at first. I thought they emailed me, and I thought it was a scam email or a spam email or something like that, right? I was like, what is this talking about? But then when I looked at the email and it was very specific, I was like, no, Lazarus, you're in medical school. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm like, it could still be a scam. So I called the dude up and I talked to Charlie LaDuff, the New York Times Pulitzer Prize winner, man. And he started talking to me. He's like, no, we're doing a story on you. I'm like, that for real? And then I talked to my man IV Duncan at that time. I was recording at his studio, and he was like, "Last time to finish the album, baby." That's how he used to talk. He was like, "Time to finish the album." And I just we got Royce the 5'9" on my first album. That was such a big thing for me. I'm like, I got Royce on my album, and we even had Royce come for the Discovery Channel shoot, even though they didn't use that section in the documentary. But Royce was part of that too.
Right.
I brought him in the studio with Royce during that documentary.
Do you feel the documentary represented you well?
Um, I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty good the way they showcased it. Um, I think it did a fair job.
It's dope. All right,
Yeah.
so it's around 2005, 2006. That's when you meet Royce,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And you met him through Ivy Duncan, which was he's a producer and engineer, right?
Right. So Ivy Duncan was somebody that I came in contact with once a couple of my mixtapes were out, and he was like, "Yo, Laz, come to the big studio, man, the big boards. You know what I'm saying? Come over here, record your album over here." So I actually signed under him to do an album with him. So I was actually working with him, and then he was also engineering Royce the 5'9". So that's how I met Royce, man. And it was crazy because Royce would be in there because I'm like such a big fan of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be in front of Royce and I'd always be like, "Yo, Royce, check this rap, bro." And I spit him a flow. And then I'm like, "I got one more, bro. You got to hear this one too." And I spit and spit. He called me the bumblebee. He's like, "Man, this dude be buzzing and spitting the crazy," but he was just so he loved what I was bringing, man. He was like, "Yo, this guy's got that. He got it." You know what I'm saying? So he told IV that. Me and Royce just built a relationship from that day on. And up in there, and I also had a relationship building up with Bazaar and D12 and stuff. But it's just crazy, man. It's just like these guys are like my idols, growing up and inspiring me, and now I'm like with them, and then my relationship got so much bigger and deeper with these guys as time went on. Obviously, you know, we'll get there.
But I love that time period that you got to meet Royce because that's when he was doing Independence Day. You know,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
repping the
actually
MIC records real hard at that time.
yeah, I think he wasn't the tightest with M at the time. I think it was like
Right. It was during the
around the
beef.
time. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was during that time. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So your guys' first song was Born to Die. And it's dope
Hmm.
because you have the footage of you guys in the studio together, kicking it and everything. And he did the chorus.
I had my bandana on.
Right.
He was actually dropping a verse on there, but it ended up just being Hook for that track.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. I was like, why did he not do a
He had a
verse?
verse. Yeah, he did have a verse on there, but we got the album out. We didn't have the verse or whatever, so we put it out. But we came back around and we worked on future projects, man.
So the next time that you guys did something was 2016 when you did
Hmm.
Underdog, right?
Underdog.
Why
Yeah.
did you guys take such a long time?
Um. So I was in medical school, right? So I was in medical school. So I was once that first album came out, it was really difficult for me to make too much time for the hip hop. So medical school, I was just kind of on and off here. I did mixtapes still. I still put out some music. I didn't really get super active until like in 2010, I did I was on another documentary, and I did something for the Detroit Red Wings. I did a theme song for the Detroit Red Wings that they played on Fox Sports and played on the big Titantron screen over there, at Joe Louis Arena and things. So I did some stuff. Then it was like around 2011. I dropped one of my biggest mixtapes called Lazarus Story, where that was the first time I actually ventured out to Pakistan, and I actually shot a video out there, and that really sparked a whole new thing for me. And at that time, hip hop was like very nothing, like it was almost non-existent in Pakistan and India side. So when I did that song in 2011, truth be told, that actually inspired a lot of the mega stars in India that exist today, like Yo Yo Honey Singh and Divine. A lot of these rappers that are out there in India right now, they actually DM me, or Raftar. They actually messaged me at the time when I released that song in Pakistan that this is dope. You got to check out my work and stuff like that.
So you started to tap into the international market at that time.
It was very like small at the time. The international market was real small, but it was starting to build up at that time a little bit. But I was definitely one of the first ones out there doing it at that time.
In 2021, you, Royce, Obi, and Swifty made a remix to Slaughterhouse's song Raindrops, right? How did that come about?
Mhm. It was just, it was just the energies. We was in the studio. Dub Music produced that. It was for his project, and they had the whole track together. Be like, man, it'd be dope if Laz had a verse on here too. So it was just like, yo, okay, let me drop something on here.
So
Yeah, everybody killed that record for sure.
what do you feel like you learned from Royce being in the studio with him? Because I've seen even you guys done interviews together and everything
Yeah.
too.
Oh man, it's just you know what I'm saying, just the focus, man. He's always so focused in the studio, and just when he puts his words together, his wordplay and everything like that, it's just I learn from that. I've been in the studio, I've been in listening sessions for his albums before they came out. Like there's a couple of his albums where Royce would invite me to the studio at Heaven Studio, and I just like sit down and just study his shit, before unreleased material from him. I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, damn, like how does he do that? And how does he do this? And I learn from it, man. Like Royce is one of my big inspirations, man. Him and M. Like I love the way their pen moves, bro. Um, and I love that my city is represented by such legends.
For sure. For sure, man.
But like the relationship between me and Royce is so dope. Like, and I'm just so happy that me and him just dropped another one in 2026, together. And it was fun because this is the first time me and Royce did like a back and forthy type of thing, right?
Right.
So it was just really like, like that bad meets evil vibe was definitely there. And like, just to kind of like bounce off of his rhyme and come and start my rhyme, I thought that was just super dope, man.
Yeah, for sure. And you got like the first time people heard him in years because of the medical
Yeah,
condition that he has and everything,
yeah, right.
Can you tell us if he's doing better?
Everything that anytime he's hit me up about that, he always says that he's doing better. He's always like, because he had hit me up a bunch of times about it. And you know, it's just that I always ask him too, like how's everything going? And every time he's always like, yeah, it's getting better, lads, getting better, lads. So I was always like, great, man. I'm like, if you ever need anything, I'm here, brother.
That's good, man. That's good. That's great to hear. How do you feel like about the backlash that some people were saying about his verses on that song?
It's crazy, man. That's going back to this negative stuff that's happening right now, bro. That negativity is just it's terrible, bro. Royce the 5'9" he's a goat, bro. He's his wordplay, man. All you got to do is listen to it because people don't catch the bars, bro. Because he got so much depth to the stuff that he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
One of your biggest supporters from day one has been Chuck D.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
How did that relationship come about and what have you learned from him?
Oh, too much, man. 2014 around that time. So I got out of medical residency in 2013. That's when I linked up with Russell Simmons, with All Def Digital. And I got started and that's when Chuck D found out about me. It's through Russell Simmons. And so once he got wind of me, he had a radio station called Rap Station. And he's like, yo, this guy Lazarus, he's a doctor and he's a dope MC. I'm plugging him. So he started playing me on his radio station every single week. And then he bigged me up so much on the radio shows, and he's like, now finally we have an educated MC that's promoting education, and he's lyrical, and he's this, and he's from Detroit. Like he just highlighted me so much on his radio station that then we just built a relationship from there. And he always showed support on Twitter towards me. And then it was really during like the pandemic time era where he like literally started going out on social media saying like Lazarus is like the most relevant MC of all time. Like I put him up there against anybody in hip hop history. Like he started going crazy.
Right, because there was a video of you guys together, and he said that. He said that you just like the education that you put into it, just like the substance and everything, you know, that he was really emphasizing that about you. So you guys have known each other for that long, but have you guys collaborated on music?
No, no, we haven't collaborated on music. It's more mentorship. Like I always reach out to him if I have, if I want to talk about hip hop or if I want to talk about issues. I'm like, I had so many issues with labels hitting me up and telling me things about what I should and shouldn't be in hip hop. And I talked to Chuck about it because it would break my heart. Like labels would be like, "Yo, you good? We want to sign you, but this doctor thing ain't gonna work. Like nobody gonna want to listen to a doctor on the mic, and your ethnicity is a problem." Like I'm like, damn, like why? What? They're like, change if you change up. Say you're Latino and say you're from here.
Are you
I remember
kidding me? They
Bro, I remember I had a meeting with Whack 100 to put him on blast, but it is what it is. Like I was at a meeting with Whack 100, bro, and he's like, "Yo, so we gonna have to redo your whole story, bro. We gonna have to do this, we have to do that." I'm like, "Bro, why though? Why can't I just be myself? Like everybody knows my story,
You
bro."
know what's so funny is I saw that picture today when I was scrolling through your social media of you and Whack, and I was like, "Oh damn, he would Whack 100 over there." I was like, I was laughing.
Man, it's crazy. But yeah, like I talked to so many labels, man, and it always comes back to the same thing. Yeah, but the doctor, this, that, like, and then when I talk to somebody like Chuck D would always be like, Lazarus, what makes you special and what makes you unique is your education. And you are educating the masses. You are the MC. You are the future of hip hop. So he gave me that he would give me that type of pep talk every time. And that's what made me motivated. That gave me motivation to get in the studio and be like, I'm Lazarus, Dr. Khan. I'm about to, save hip hop.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy though, because the internet is forever. It would be impossible to erase all that stuff about you. You would look like a fool to come out and be like, "Oh, I'm really Latino and I don't have no doctor background now," and to try to redo the
And I
story.
say that. And I say that. I'm like, there's so many videos of me not being that. They're like, fuck all that though. Nobody cares. They gonna care about what you become now. Like, I don't.
Transracial. Like, basically, that's insane, man. Wow. So is there any chance that we can get a record with you and Chuck D?
I mean, that's always something possible. We just never talked about it. It was just that we never even had that talk. But he loved the Rakim. So when he said, when he heard me with Rakim,
Uh-huh.
it was like, oh yeah, now we can have a conversation like that. It was so, man, it was beautiful, man. I was just recently, me, Chuck D, and Rakim was all hanging out
I
together.
saw that.
Oh man, what a moment, bro.
Right.
What a moment that was, bro.
In 2016, you released the song Fearless with King Crooked, talking about the
Yeah.
current state of politics in America. Talk
Yeah.
to us about that song, how it came to be, and the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, that was like around the time when Trump was first getting in, and when he was first coming in, he was on that racist rhetoric. So it was like, we were just talking about that. We were just talking about how this dude is racist. He was like banning immigration, banning Muslims, and all. It was just I went into that. He went into it. We was collectively not a fan of him, so we did that record together. And when I had got the situation with Russell Simmons, and I went to his house and I got a standing ovation for a spoken word I did about unity in hip hop. I had to throw that out there. After that, like I connected back with D12 and Royce, and then I linked up with King Crooked after that. So it just like I started just getting busy with this rap, man. I started getting busy with a lot of the heavyweights, and Crooked I was great MC to do a song with, man. That's definitely somebody whose pen game I consider to be top tier,
Legend.
in hip hop.
Legend,
Legend,
man,
yeah.
for
So
sure.
the fact that I was able to have worked with Crooked, Royce, and then moving forward, I've worked with some of the best pens. Cassidy, I did a record with Cassidy. I did a record with Locksmith.
Right.
I got a record with Ghostface
Right.
Killah. You know what I'm saying? And then working with Rakim and Hobson and all these guys. I work with a lot of cats,
Yeah.
man.
How do you feel the current state of politics in America has impacted hip hop and race relations in general?
Um, I think I think overall hip hop music has made people closer together. because as much as people try to polarize or try to separate this place from that place, and just like I talked about earlier, it's happening overseas too with India and Pakistan. Now, like everything has to be about division. Hip hop has always been about unity. When I was doing those tours with Wu-Tang and I was on the road and I'm in front of a crowd of 20,000 people, all whites, Hispanics, blacks, Asians, all in unity together, there's nothing more beautiful than that. Nothing more beautiful than that. And to me, I'm like, if this is happening right here, we are coming together because of hip hop, then hip hop is winning. And that's another reason why this situation with Emiway is such a bad situation
Mhm.
that he's creating, because that's the opposite of that. You causing division. Hip hop is about bringing us together, man.
So you don't think that politics in America right now is impacting hip hop, like as far as like different artists, like people looking at
I
each
think so, because people are making records, they're speaking out. Like I feel like when there's something going on politically, I think it gets brought up in hip hop. I think people talk about it. I think they reflect on it, and I think that it's definitely influencing hip hop.
But you know what I mean? Like as far as like people like now, it's like with the way the culture is, the internet and everything, it's like people make it so it's like, oh, if you identify with the left or you identify the right, they're
Oh,
like, this sums you up as a person now. And like I can't fuck
yeah.
with you anymore. I can't listen to
Yeah,
you.
no, like I said, man, that's what I can't stand. I can't stand when people start labeling you. Oh, he did this, or he hit like on this post. I can't rock with him no more. Or he did this. I can't rock with him no more. Oh, you know what I'm saying? He was breathing towards the left direction of the left. Oh, he's this. I'm serious. People
I
get like
know
that.
that's what's so ridiculous. That's why it's like you kind of gotta laugh at it because it's just like it's so insane the era that we're in now. You know of
Right.
how crazy it is.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Yeah, so I feel like when you guys did that record, it was almost like you guys were ahead of your time. You know, with you and
Mm-hmm.
Crooked talking about some of those issues and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. We were definitely. I think we were one of the first people to come and address Trump at that time on a record.
What is well, okay, well let me ask you. So for you though, are you able to separate people's political affiliations to be like, you know what, like I get it, that's like what you vote, but I still can respect you as a person. I can still like you as a person and your art.
Absolutely. Bro, first and foremost, we're human beings, man. So everybody got their differences in opinion.
Mhm.
So, people like this, people like that. That's not gonna stop me from rocking with you or not rocking with you. You know what I'm saying? That's foolishness.
Yeah. What is your history with Wu-Tang? Like, who did you meet first?
Right. So that whole situation was with Divine 7 who is cousins with the Ghostface Killah and RZA, and we linked up, and we just, he connected me with Ghostface Killah, and then Ghostface Killah like my stuff, and then before I knew it, we did a collab together called Decapitation Chamber, which is just an insane situation, and then we went on the road, and we opened up for Ghostface Killah on a bunch of shows, and then Tarif linked up with us, who's the show manager for the Wu-Tang, and then he tested us on stage in Washington, D.C. at the Anthem auditorium. And then we killed that show, man. And then then RZA and Tarif was like, yo, bring him to Australia. And we went to Australia. We did the New Zealand. We went to Sydney, and then New Zealand, Christchurch, and Auckland. And then they invited us to the whole US and UK tour. It was nuts, bro. 2018 and 19 was nuts,
I
bro.
mean, what is that like? Because you were such a Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang
fan,
made me.
right? You know?
Wu-Tang made me a rapper.
Right.
So that was a very, I mean, I can't really explain in words what that was, because I'm like riding around with RZA. I'm talking to Jizza, having conversation. And then in the beginning, they didn't all know exactly what I was bringing. But then as I started to develop a relationship, especially like Jizza became a mentor, like he became such a big fan of me. And that's like the rapper I told you that made me want to rap in the first place. So like there was a big relationship that built between me and him. And then I ended up opening up for him on a bunch of his shows. He actually asked me to. He called me. He's like, yo, Laz, I want you on my show and this. And then Inspector Deck, another one that I became really close with, and he's somebody whose pen I think is like amongst the best who ever lived, you know what I'm saying, with the rap. So just to be around these people, man, and constantly around these people and learning from their show is just so immaculate, man. The way they perform, especially Meth, man. I'm watching these guys and I'm learning from it. I'm studying it. So when I would perform, I would like try to take some of their tricks and try to use some of those things that they were doing.
Yeah. So like to quote you on something that you said like once you can visualize like, you know, yourself being who you want to be, like that's like pretty much like everything that you need, right? Like only you know who you can be.
True.
And I feel like you believing in yourself so much to know that you could be a rapper and then you having that full circle moment with Wu-Tang. These are the guys that like really helped shape you as an artist. You know, that had to be an amazing feeling.
Man, it was just on yeah, the no words to describe it, man. It was just crazy. Just to be around my heroes and the people that inspired me to rap and just to be around them. And then number one, to be around them, and then later also to be acknowledged and respected by them. That just meant everything to me.
Right. I think I even saw like they like somewhere they I don't know the title of an article that said that like you're considered a Wu-Tang affiliate now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, especially then at that time, like I was around them so much that they really put that title on me. And
Uh-huh.
because I had a record with Ghost. Nobody had got a record with Ghost. Like I had a record with Ghostface, and it was like, okay, so like everyone in that, Wu-Tang family was like, they knew about it. They knew about me.
Right. So can we expect any future collaborations like with you and RZA or any of the other Wu-Tang members?
I mean, let's see, man. You know what I'm saying? Like those are like Jizz as a mentor, all these guys are like mentors to me, man. And I just think anything's possible. But I'm just trying to like, whatever comes my way, whatever's naturally coming my way, I try to reach out and try to do something new and innovative every time with hip hop. Like every time I get on the mic, I want to try to outdo myself. I want to try to do something fresh, something new, something I haven't done yet.
For sure. All right. So in 2020, you appeared on Vlad TV. How did that opportunity happen? Was that like you doing the live with Vlad first, or that happened after?
No, I actually at that time I started doing a lot of talks on my social media about the pandemic when it started because I was on the front lines. I literally was not sleeping. I was just working like all day, all night long, covering for physicians that got sick. I was really on the battlefield with that COVID, man. Really on the battlefield, and I saw some really horrifying things during that moment in my life. But as I was speaking about those things on social media, Vlad had actually reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, like I wanna, can you come to LA to do an interview?" And I was at that was a time where people weren't even driving. People were not even able to like drive out like that. So I actually like just got in the car. I was like, nah, I'm gonna do this thing on Vlad. So I'm like, let me drive out. I drove out. The freeways is completely empty, clear. I just drove out to LA from
From
Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah, from Vegas. I drove out, got there. And then Vlad was like, yo, we're gonna have like one of the only like live interviews out right now because everybody's doing Zoom stuff. And I'm like, he was excited about that. So I was like, cool. He's like, bring your white coat. I was like, okay.
I was just about to ask you that. I was like, yo, you were wearing the
Yeah,
white
he
lab
told
coat.
me, yeah, Vlad was like they criticized me in the comment section. They're like, why you wearing a white coat? Why you doing that? But Vlad wanted me to wear it. He's like, wear it. I'm like, okay.
I was like, it's very doctory of you, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, we gotta capture the doctor look on you.
Right.
Can't come in here looking like a rapper.
So you've been on there like 3 times, right?
Right.
Pretty much, and they were primarily for your expertise as a
Expertise.
doctor.
Right,
And
right.
like, what was that experience like for you being on there like so many times? Like, how do you feel like the reception was?
I think it was great because that opened the door for so many things. Because once I was on Vlad talking about the pandemic, that opened the Pandora's box for everyone to hit me up on social media. Then
Mm,
I started getting DMs from all the people. Like I had Havoc hit me up from Mobb Deep. I had LL Cool J, you know what I'm saying, Fat Joe. Then
right.
I had RZA and we had already established connection with, but just Fat Joe. I mentioned so many people, like you name it, Ice T, like you name it, like everybody was hitting me up. I was talking to Black Thought. Damn it, everybody, bro.
So since then, you've like blown up more and more
Yeah,
musically. Has he
yeah.
asked you to come back as Lazarus? You know, no pun intended, to
No, we
discuss
actually
your
had a plan when Emiway was supposed to be in the States. We were actually gonna do an interview, but I'm still in touch with Vlad, man. We're definitely down to do more stuff. As Lazarus, it's just I haven't been on there as Lazarus yet. I've only been on
right.
there
That's
as
what I'm
Dr. Khan.
saying. Like, I would love to
Yeah,
see that,
that'd
you
be
know?
crazy, right? That'd be dope. That'd be a dope contrast from the previous stuff that people. It's like his audience knows me as Dr. Khan.
Right. And it's funny because it's like the way that one clip of you rapping where it's like they're like, "Oh, Dr. Khan, aka Lazarus, bust a
Mhm.
freestyle or something like
Right, right,
that.
right.
you know,
It's crazy. It
um,
threw people off because at that time when people were looking at it, they're looking at Dr. Khan's a serious doctor who's just serious, like talking about this and this. And then when he starts busting out the flow, you think it's gonna be some joke, but like this guy could actually rap though. What's going on? It's confusing me.
yeah, for sure. But man, during that year, like you were just
Yeah,
everywhere, just
yeah, it was.
everywhere. It was crazy. Ice-T reached out to you. He asked about DJ K Slay.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Slay in that situation?
Yeah, man, he was going through it with the COVID, man, and with his breathing status being what it was, and it was sad, man. Rest in peace to DJ K Slay, and so many others that we lost too. Fred the Godson, you know what I'm saying? So many
Right.
people. I lost my uncle, at that time from COVID, like, and then I lost like over like 40, maybe 50 patients during that time personally, directly, and not all of them were older people, a lot of younger. So it was just a terrible time, man. It was just tragic, and but at the same time, I was making rounds everywhere, speaking about it and also just and then that led me to meeting with NASA, because I was doing a clubhouse event
Right.
and speaking about,
Well, I want to
you
go
know,
into that in a little bit, but
right.
for that situation though, like with you being on the front lines like that and seeing the horrendous things that you saw, like that's not something that you can just get over so easily. I imagine.
Nah, it broke me, bro. It really tore me up. It tore me up when I seen him because I remember like a 28-year-old or something like that, and I'm like, okay, they're better, they're gonna go talking to their family, their parents, and then they just die. And I'm like, oh no. It's crazy. Yeah, this is nuts, man. There's crazy
Yeah.
stuff out there. Way, yeah.
It's a crazy thing that I think that a lot of people never thought that we were going to see.
Hmm.
You know
And
what I mean?
think about it for a second. At the time during the pandemic, a lot of us didn't know if we were going to get out of it. It's
Right.
crazy. We're back. We went back to normal like it never happened. But when you actually go into that moment, at that moment, we didn't know what the hell was going on. We didn't know how long this was going to last for.
Exactly. And it's just like it's crazy now when you think about it that it was 6 years ago. Like, wow, like really? Or 6, 7 years ago, like it's like
Yeah.
it's insane to think about, right?
Right.
But can you talk about what is the biggest difference you have noticed pre-pandemic and post-pandemic?
Um, I think like a lot of like the new mediums that people use now, like people who do like Zoom more and they could do all these other like even the way we're doing our like interview right now, like a lot of stuff that people started doing a lot more. Um, virtual things. There's even like virtual medicine that never existed before. Now there's virtual docs, and there's a lot of like different things that kind of like evolve from that time period. But as far as the people, I think right after the pandemic, people were definitely like more wary and cautious about everything. And but I mean, I think people are now starting to turn back to what they were pre pandemic.
Yeah,
It's going back to everybody's same mind states that it was before.
for
But
sure.
one thing I really liked about the pandemic time period is it really brought people together. People really, really like kept close to their families, made sure that their families are safe, and then they really paid more attention to them on their personal time.
As tragic as that time period was, I think that it was a blessing for some people in certain ways because like so many times in life we're like constantly moving, constantly doing things and stuff like that. We take things for granted. And then
Yeah.
like when you're forced to slow down and really reflect about what's important in your life, what you really want to do, all these type of things, it causes you to make different decisions and to really change your life. And I think that a lot of
Yeah.
people were forced to do that.
Yeah. No, like I said, it was like, pain always leads you towards some fruit,
Mhm.
and some new maturing development in you. And I think that also did the same thing for people the pandemic did for sure.
So in 2020, you released the song Medical Marijuana with Redman.
Mm.
How did
Right.
you guys end up linking up for that?
During the tours, I linked up with Redman during the Wu-Tang era that I did the tours and stuff. And he definitely was. He was at I think a couple of them and he performed. So I linked up with Redman. We exchanged numbers, and I actually had that record made up for Snoop Dogg. My man, Big Von, was about to take it to Snoop Dogg, but what's his name? Kobe had passed away when we were getting ready to meet with Snoop, and so this messed up that whole situation. So I just had that record kind of sitting around. So me and Redman got to talking one day, And Redman was like, "Yeah, we definitely got to work on something." And I just pulled that record up. I'm like, "Yo, Redman, what do you think of this record?" He listened to it. He's like, "Yo, let me throw some stuff on here." So he just sent it back. He put some ad libs on there, added to the hook, and did an intro for me. He's like, "Yo, rock with that, Laz." I'm like, "Let's go."
So there was no talks of him spitting a verse or anything like that?
There was. We talked about it, and I was like, "When I'm gonna do the video for this, I'm gonna get you to do a verse." He's like, "All right," but that was something I just threw out there at that time with the way I did. But it was just cool to have his voice on there.
Yeah, for sure. So on the song, you talk about the benefits of marijuana and you prescribing it to your patients, right? Now,
Yeah.
for a long time, people have said that the reason why marijuana wasn't being legalized is because of the pharmaceutical companies finding it to be a threat to them. Do you think that that was the case?
No, I mean, well, yeah, that could have played a part in it at the time, but then once it became legalized, now everybody's doing
Hmm.
CBD and exploring the benefits of it, as explained in the song.
Right. Because you in the song, you talk about the hypocrisy and everything.
Yeah.
Now, do you have Crohn's disease or you were talking about
No,
from
no, I was talking
perspective?
about it. I was
Oh, got
talking from
you.
the perspective of somebody. Yeah, no, no, I was just playing that role, like, as somebody who got Crohn's disease, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I don't think he
No,
really
no.
got it,
No, no, no. No.
but yeah, but you've personally as a doctor, you've seen, the
The
benefits,
benefits of it, definitely.
right? But do you think that also that it gets abused by people too?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely does. There's the medical benefit to it, but yeah, people definitely do abuse it. But it's not like to me, like even abusing it is not the same as abusing alcohol or crack cocaine or something like
Right,
that's a
right.
whole different scenario. Like, you don't see, you know, violations of things happening because of somebody being high on marijuana versus those other drugs.
Now, what about the advancement of marijuana from back then to now though? Because they making this shit so strong now
Oh, it's
to another
crazy.
level.
Yeah. It's another level now, and they got so many different type of strains, so many different type of variations. It's we on the next level with that now.
But you as a doctor, have you seen like the negative side of consuming marijuana as far as like smoking? Like it's never good to burn something and inhale it that way, right? Or like the vaping.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimately you don't want to overdo that, and it always can lead to complications in the lungs. But the worst thing that you could put in your lungs is that nicotine smoke, though.
Right.
That cigarette smoke is the worst thing that you could put in there because that in particular is, very carcinogenic, so it can when you get lung cancer and lung issues and emphysema that develops, from smoking cigarettes, that's the absolute worst. Now, I have seen people have damaged lungs from marijuana too, but they're very, like you said, they abuse it very, very heavily.
Or what about like because now like do you think that like the way that they grow it, like they're spraying the plants more or something like that? Or like,
They
it's
they 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 might be doing, some things to help with that, but ultimately, I think anything you can't abuse. You can't. There's always going to be some kind of a issue that happens from abusing any type of medication or any type of thing.
right. So in 2021, you recorded the WWE theme song called
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
Um,
crazy. So like how did that
yeah.
even come about?
Yeah, so one of the homies from India that I hooked up with, his name is Teflon. He also passed. Rest in peace to him. And shout out to my brother Root. You know what I'm saying? They helped put that together with the WWE wrestler Jinder Mahal, who's also was a big supporter, was a big supporter of mine. And we collaborated with another big India artist named Raftar on that track. And another artist named Sikandar Kalon. And so we put that theme song together for this wrestler. So that was just a dope thing we added to the catalog, man.
And you flew out to record the music video too, right?
No, we were gonna shoot the music video for that, but we actually didn't have a music video, so we just released that as an audio.
Oh, right. I think I saw a tweet saying that you were getting ready to go
Yeah,
out to do it, but it didn't end up happening.
right.
And did you get a good bag for that? Because it's the WWE, or
Oh yeah, yeah,
did they
definitely.
put
No,
it
that
in?
was.
It was for SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, there was the during the time I believe it was SummerSlam. Yep.
Did they end up putting it in like any of the video games or anything like that?
No, they didn't put it in any of the video games and stuff like that, but Jinder Mahal promoted it, on his social
Uh-huh.
media and stuff like that. So it got around, man. It was a lot of fun doing that because I was spitting my verse in English, then Raftar was spitting in Hindi, and then the other guy was speaking in Punjabi. So it was like three different languages. It's fire.
That's insane, man. And did you grow up a wrestling fan?
Oh hell yeah. I loved, especially during the era that really got me was the Stone Cold and Rock era and
The
Vince McMahon.
Attitude Era,
Yeah, the Attitude Era when Mike Tyson was in there. That was definitely like the era for me.
for
Mhm.
sure, man. Because I think I saw with. Don't you got like videos with Mark?
Mark
Yeah,
Henry is one of my biggest. Yeah, that's his whole story. I met him at Wayne State. He came and did a talk of during the voting time, and I actually performed there. I was on stage performing when he was up there, and he saw me perform. He got my mixtape. Like 2 weeks later, he called me. He's like, "You're my new favorite rapper." I'm like, what? He was like, and then from that point on, where we became like very close friends up until today. He's a very close friend of mine.
that's great, man. Shout out to Mark Henry, man.
Yeah, shout out
Definitely,
to Mark Henry for sure.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that whole wrestling thing, man. I get down with that for sure.
That same year, you and Locksmith collaborated on
Mm.
Signs, and it was dope because you guys had that triple time flow, the way that
That
you
was my
guys were
favorite
going
collab to
back and
date.
forth. That's my favorite collab of yours, honestly. Like, it's
Mhm.
just, it was so dope because even like the visuals, the way, where did you guys film that?
I think it was in Arizona, but it looked like we were overseas.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? And it was during COVID times. I was like, well, you guys flew all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, it's crazy how we did it. But Lock was like, "Yo, I got this location, and no one's gonna know where we are. It's gonna look crazy as a desert." I'm like, "Yeah, right." We got over there. I was like, "Really? This place exists?" And we shot the video there. It's like he just knew, right? And yeah, it was crazy because yeah, me and Locke really connected. He was another MC that I really connected with during the pandemic. And then me and Locke, Locke was crazy, going crazy at that time, and he was constantly freestyling on Shade 45 and doing all this stuff. And then he became a fan of everything I was doing. And then I was like, yo, let's do a record. And we didn't know what kind of song we were gonna make, but I guess he sent me a track, the Signs beat, and then he was like, yo, let's go back and forth on this. I'm like, how we gonna do that? He's like, I'll send you a verse, you send me a verse back. So it was literally the way we did that was he would send me he would have the beat playing in the background. He sent me the voice note of his verse. And then like 20 minutes later, I sent him my verse after that. And then 20 minutes later, ding, 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 I get a verse from him. And I'm like, fuck, this dude went crazy. Then 20 minutes later, I sent him my next verse. And then we just did that all the way to the end of the track. And then we just laid it.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, definitely. And because Locke, he's half Persian and he's half black, and he's from the Islamic faith, right? So did you guys were you
Mhm.
guys able to like bond about kind of like some of
Yeah.
those
And
similar
we
experiences?
incorporated that into the video too. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Because I felt like it was like a cultural juxtaposition kind of feel like,
Because
the
when his verse was playing, they got it his lyrics written in Persian. And mine came out, it was in Urdu
right.
yeah, that's
And then
crazy.
did you guys shoot part of that in Vegas too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we finished the video in Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then it's like it seemed empty too, right?
Mhm.
That was crazy, man. What was
We
it?
we were at Fremont. We were about down by Fremont Street in Las Vegas. We was out there. We did the back and forth thing, and it was crazy, man. I love it because the song starts, and then we just the energy builds up as you listen to the track, and we just keep going. We just keep bouncing back off each other, and I love that.
Yeah, I felt like your guys' styles really complemented each other
Yeah,
really
people
well.
wanted us to drop a whole album after that.
That's what I
We
was just
talked
about to
about,
tell you. I was
man.
like, man, I could
We was like,
see you doing that. I could definitely see
yeah,
you guys doing that.
we talked about that for sure. It's just never hadn't manifested, but we talked about that for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like Locke is like definitely one of those guys that's always been underrated, but he's
Yeah,
always been putting in work, and he's
yeah,
been like one of the ones that have transitioned from battle rap to making music very
yeah,
well.
yeah.
For
And
sure,
not
man.
everyone could do that, and he definitely could.
Yeah, shout out to Locke, man. That
Shout out to
song is
Locksmith
crazy.
for sure, brother.
All right, so April 7th, 2023, your song
Mhm.
Pale Blue Dot premiered from space, making it the first song ever to premiere from space. How did you end up collabing with NASA? Like, that's just insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely the most left field thing that ever happened to me. Out of all the crazy things that I mentioned happened to me, that is definitely the most left field, weird, crazy thing that ever happened. So again, the pandemic happened, and I was doing a clubhouse event where I was speaking about, it was actually there was a lot of deaths happening in India at that time, and I was just actually giving I was giving a talk about things, the preventive measures that they could take over there, And it just so happened that there was affiliates of NASA in the Clubhouse event. It was like, I don't know, it was like 30,000 people tuned in. And then somebody that's affiliated with NASA hit me up afterwards, and he said, "Yo, I'm affiliated with NASA, and I got this scientist, Tara Rutley, wanted to put you in touch with them." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like NASA?" And I looked her up, and she was legit. And then I went on a Zoom call with her, and she was like, "You know, it's so amazing how you were able to rhyme about the pandemic and how you got this medical background, but you also have, you know, this hip hop thing. I want to connect you with the chief scientist at NASA, James Green." And James Green is actually he was involved in a lot of like entertainment projects like the Martian movie with Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like orchestrated that whole movie to make it as realistic as possible according to NASA. So yeah, he loved that type of stuff. So I actually went to DC and sat down with James Green, and this dude is like a like Doc from Back to the Future. And he's just going over his like, this is how we gonna get to the moon, and this is how we're gonna go to the, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna, I'm like, man, this is insane. These conversations we're having right now is just, you know what I'm saying? And so he's just like, yeah, so you ever think about doing a hip hop song where, you know, you talking about space and stuff? I'm like, no, I never really thought about that. And then when he mentioned it to me, he was like, "Well, we have a project where we're trying to play a song from space, from the International Space Station. One of the astronauts is going to go over there with a cube with the song in it." And I'm like, "What? This is just all crazy. What the hell is going on right now?" So anyway, they gave me the idea for the project, and I had a whole bunch of notes that I took with James Green, and then we ended up actually, I Prophet, rest in peace again. My boy Prophet did the beat for the track, and they loved the beat. Then I put the rhymes down to it. Me and James Green actually sat down and orchestrated the kind of, I wanted to make a song about space that didn't sound corny. I wanted to make a song that actually had some logistic reality behind it. And I actually studied what happens when you travel to space, and what with the rocket engine, what you need for all that to happen, how explosive that moment is for somebody to actually launch out into outer space. And then what is it like when you actually get to space and see space? And then what kind of things do we learn from space? So I separated that into different verses with the Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot theme around it. And then they loved it. We launched it from space in 23. And then they incorporated it into the US Library of Congress. And it was just a big, big, huge moment. We made articles, it made headlines here and there. And it was, you know, NASA and Lazarus collaboration. It was insane, man.
Bro, the amount of stuff you've been able to accomplish as an independent artist is
Yeah.
insane.
Thank you, bro.
It's just insane. Um,
Constant grind.
on that note, kind of similar. You have any thoughts on like flat Earth or anything like that?
No.
No.
Sorry, Lord Jamar, it's not it.
Okay.
But
Shout out to Lord Jamar. That's my guy.
yeah, shout out to Lord Jamar though. Shout out to that dude. Yeah, for real. Yeah. But yeah, man. No, like that.
All right. Benzino situation. What happened
No,
with Benzino, man, that made you want to release that freestyle diss video over the ether beat?
man, when he I forgot I did that. It was just the mom spaghetti thing, bro. When that whole thing was happening and he's throwing the spaghetti on on the ground in Detroit, I'm like, why is he disrespecting Detroit? And then I get back into my bag, just like this whole Emiway thing, bro. It's just like, you don't, it's Detroit versus everybody's no fly zone, bro. You don't do this kind of nonsense. So I just came up there. I had just you know, me and Fred Reg just worked together, and I was just in Dr. Dre just got inducted to the Hall of Fame over there in LA. I was over there kicking it with all those guys, man. And it was just crazy because that was the time when Benzino was doing it. I just had that energy. I'm like, man, I was just over there with Denon, and we were just chilling. And I'm like, nah, Benzino, I'm like, let me step in and say something, man. Let me say something right now.
You
You don't
felt like he
disrespect
was
Detroit.
disrespectful to Detroit.
Yeah, that's how I took it. You know, I took it like that. And then he even had a reply on the comments or something. He said something. I don't know, remember what he said, but he said something.
But he never hit you direct, like DM you or anything like that?
Mm.
Cause Benzino, I got love for Benzino,
Yeah,
but
I think that we might have had an exchange on DMs before, like where he was getting angry and whatever. But
yeah, but Benzino does like go back and forth with a lot of people.
yeah, he do. He likes engaging with people.
Yeah. But do you think that you went a little too far mentioning the situation with his daughter and stuff like that, or nah?
Nah, man. I mean, That's you look like I said, man, in hip hop beef, it's just or anytime you going after somebody, like all this stuff is just it comes out, bro. You just bring things into the equation. I
Right.
mean, every person who did any kind of a big think about every major diss record that you ever heard. There's always something like that in there, bro. Always.
Yeah. Um Now, you're a real hip hop fan. So, what did the Source magazine mean to you growing up?
Oh, at that time it meant a lot, especially when like around like when Only Built for Cuban Links, you know, Five Mike, and I remember when Nas is Stillmatic came out and you know, Blueprint came out and the Five Mike. It was just like, oh, did you know this one got five in the source? This one got five in the source. Holy shit. Like, oh, that Nas got five. Like, oh yes. So what is this? So it meant a lot. A lot of credibility for sure at that time. Like the Source magazine and what they gave a rap album meant a lot at that time. Yeah.
So, do you give Benzino his credit for what he contributed to the Source magazine?
Um, yeah, I mean, probably so. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like know how much contribution he had to all that, whatever. But you know, at that time, I was definitely in tune with the Source magazine. I used to read that magazine and really pay attention to what they gave rankings and ratings to. It's just that M came out and just, you know, the whole thing's just shifted all around, man. You
That
know?
was a that was a very pivotal time in hip hop where their situation of going back and forth and everything like that, was
Mhm.
for but definitely the Source was the Bible, man. Like, if it was four mics, you was copping it. You know what I mean? Three and a half, you were
Oh yeah,
definitely considering it,
definitely.
So
Yeah, just like M says in that song. It was just like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
for sure, man. So like you touched on earlier a little bit, you've had a long relationship with members of D12, right?
Mhm.
Now, do you feel like you guys to this time, you guys have developed more than just like business, it's more of a
Oh,
friendship?
it's friendship, man. Bizarre, that's my dog. I mean, it's on like whether it's medical stuff we're talking about or whether it's hip hop stuff. Like Bizarre is that's my big brother, man. Like we're so close. We talk all the time. Swifty, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? We talk all the time. Royce, all these guys, man. These guys are like family now. So it's like
It,
I love these guys, man.
Kaniva, you close with Kaniva too?
Yeah, yep, definitely. Yeah, me and Kaniva tight, man, and Denon and I, you know what I'm saying, and the whole crew, the whole squad, man. And I just love working with him. I love working with him to this date. I'm so glad that I was able to drop a song with Swifty, even though it was on the terms that it was. But I'm still so glad that I got a record with Swifty out in 2026. Like that's amazing to me. I got a record out with Royce the 5'9" in 2026. That's amazing to me.
Right. And so 2014, you did Lay the Law Down with Swifty
Yeah,
McVay and Kaniva, right? And
hell
then
yeah.
that same year, you did Open Heart Surgery with Bazaar. And
Yeah.
you also did Raw as It Gets with
Mm.
D12 in 2016. And in 2019, you did Leatherface with Bazaar. That Leatherface record is insane.
Yeah, that one took off. That one took off. I got a lot of fans from that song because it was you know, that song was originally supposed to be so you know, remember when Eminem did the song Fall and he mentions Hobson in there?
Right.
Hobson got lit after that. He was just like, "Yo, M dropped my name." So Bizarre was trying to orchestrate the song with Hop and M on that song. So I didn't ended up manifesting, but I ended up getting on the track. Bizarre hit me up. He's like, "Yo, Laz, got this record with me, Gordy, and Hop, man. You got to jump on this." I was like, "You gonna let me jump on that one, bro?" He was like, "Yo, see what you can do on this." It was kind of like, "Let's see what you can do on this." And then when Bizarre heard the verse, they were like, "Yo, this is the last verse on the record." Like I
Wow.
was, damn, bro. It's
That's
just
an
like,
honor.
yeah, it was such a big honor, man.
Yeah.
And then Hobson did the beat on there, and Hobson we were actually getting ready to shoot a video for it, but I don't know what happened. But we were gonna shoot a video for that too. That would have been insane.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. And I felt like that record gave you like kind of like those vibes of more of like um
It's a
the
horrorcore record.
yeah, but not just that, but like how hip hop used to be where like you could have four long verses on a track and be like
Yeah,
a 6 minute track or whatever, and like
yeah.
because like now everything is so like 2 minutes, 3 minutes or whatever, like one verse in the chorus twice or something like,
That's
like I
whack.
yeah, and I just feel like that record gave you that vibe of like, nah, we really here for the bars like that.
Yeah. No, I love that song. That
Yeah.
song's everyone came hard on it.
And then Mr. Porter, he produced for you, like, you know, on the song Scapple and everything like that. So you actually opened for D12 in the early 2000s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yep.
What show was that at?
I think it was at the State Theater. State Theater. I think it was for the D12 World album.
Wow. Oh, okay. So that's like My Band and How Come, that time
Yeah,
area.
yeah,
Got you. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And what was that experience like for you during that time when you were like, man, like I've been fan
It's
of these
amazing,
guys?
man. Like, yeah, it's just like it just felt so good to be like in the mix with these guys, man, because they're like putting the city on for the rest of the world, and everybody not like everybody in the world is like up on Detroit hip hop because of them. You know what I'm saying? So like forever, forever salute that, man, forever. And I just like even recently, like talking to Swift every day right now, and like me and Swift talk about it. We're like, man, it's like the way you guys laid the mark for this, man, for this hip hop shit to be global and for it to be what it is today. Like it's just unbelievable. And we always talk about that, putting Detroit, always representing for Detroit, man, holding it down for Detroit no matter where we go. And we gonna continue to do that too.
Right. And you actually opened for G Unit like around
Yeah.
2004 too, right? At the
Yeah,
Joe Louis?
That was at Joe Louis Arena. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was at Joe Louis Arena. Um, that was fire too, man. And then I linked up with 50 when he was in Vegas. I actually had a chance to like kick it with him for a few minutes.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw the picture when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah. It was at his concert. It was at his concert, so it was in the VIP. I was able to actually kick it with it. And I just dropped the Who Kid freestyle, and I had a line about Dame Dash. You know what I'm saying in there? Uh, yeah, I make your teeth come out your mouth like Dame Dash. Like I say something like that, and then I said bite my lyrics again. I make your teeth fall out like Dame Dash. So I said that to 50, and he started cracking up. He
yo,
was losing it, but it was an honor to meet him.
yeah, to see like what he's been able to accomplish from dominating music to now
Oh yeah,
dominating like
he's a
film
beast,
and TV.
beast,
It's insane,
beast,
bro.
beast, animal,
Yeah.
bro.
So I've seen you work with Jeff Bass. You're
Oh
cool with
yeah,
Jake Bass.
oh yeah.
You know, you collabed with Obi Trice, Crooked, Royce, of course. It's like everyone within the Shady Nation. Is the ultimate goal a collab with M or to sign to Shady Records? Like, what is like the
That's whenever that brother only, he has what he wants to do, and I just hope that one day it's a part of a narrative that he wants to be a part of. And to me, like that would be the greatest moment in my life if I were able to do a song with dude. You know what I'm saying? That would be the illest thing because I'm just constantly steadily building my repertoire of skill set and stuff like that. And it's just like if one day I'm able to share that skill set, with the GOAT, that to me, like that would just be the biggest honor in the world. But that's entirely on him. But I'm grateful to know that he watches, and he sees, he keeps his eyes open on everything. So, one day.
would you consider yourself to be a stan?
In what terms? Like a stan, like a crazy obsessed person or
No, but
somebody
like
that's just
like a big Eminem fan, like like to
yeah.
like his work like really well, like not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I rock with homie a lot.
would you consider
Yeah.
him to be like top 3 influences for you?
Yeah. I mean, I would say Rakim, Jizza, Nas, Eminem. Like, yeah, it's up there.
For sure, man. So M80 is A&R in your project. How did you meet M80 and what has that relationship been like? Because that's a crazy motherfucker. Shout out to M80.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to M80, man. Yeah, we linked up during the Wu-Tang tours, man. I always seen him, so we always kind of like talked. And I remember we was at a Nas show. I went to a Nas concert in Vegas and he was there, and then he was just like, Laz, man, you killed it on those Wu shows. And we sat down and we ate something together. And then at that time he had just done the first Rakim project. And then he was like, yeah, we actually started talking about the prospect of linking up with Ra when he comes to Vegas. So Vegas, he had a couple. I think the month after that, Rakim came to Vegas for a show, and then I had a chance to really like talk to Rakim and meet with him and link with him and stuff. And then when Rakim learned about the whole thing that I'm doing with the education and hip hop, and he heard a couple of my freestyles, he was just like, "Yo, dude, cold. This dude is cold. Like he really bring it." And then the people around Rakim were like, "Yo, this guy's something different." So from there, then I talked to 80. I was like, "Hey, listen, man, maybe if because Rakim is somebody that doesn't do nothing, even no matter how much money you throw him. They were talking about, people throwing him, I don't want to throw their names out, but people throwing him 100 grand, 150 grand for a verse. And he's just like, nah. He just says I remember we're talking about prominent figures in hip hop saying, giving him 100, 150 grand, and he's saying no. He's turned down some of our favorite rappers, some of my favorite rappers of all time. He's turned them down over the years. And so this is somebody who just he's not gonna work with you, even if you give him like $1 million. Like that's the type of person we're talking about here. And so when I explored the prospect, it was just kind of like, yo, if he's rocking with what you got and this and that, there's a possibility that he's gonna rock with you. So, I put a track together. I actually linked up with Dem Joints. He sent me a beat pack, from the Aftermath squad.
Yeah,
And
shout out to Dem
that's
Joints.
shout
Very
out to Dem Joint
underrated.
and Fredwreck too, man. That's both my homies.
Yeah.
And Fredwreck did a song called God Sent Me that I released before this, but Dem Joint sent me a beat pack. I went through it and then I sent Rakim a couple beats, 2 or 3 of them, and then he picked the Not to Be Defined beat. I had a whole different theme on that song. I was coming a little bit differently. But then Rakim was like, yo, peep this. And then he was on FaceTime with me and he sent a verse over. And then I was like, okay. Then when he sent me the verse, I redid my whole shit.
Wow.
I redid my whole shit to match with the energy he had on the track. But I feel like that song came out of just amazing.
And it's your most like successful song to
Yeah,
date,
it's
right?
it's the most successful one. And we were actually in a Grammy consideration conversation for that song too. So I'm actually going to the Grammys next week. I'm going on the 1st of February. I'll be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, man. Like, what does it feel like to work with the God MC himself, bro?
Yeah, I think we talked about so many milestone moments on this interview and so many moments, like we talked about the NASA, the
Right.
Wu-Tang thing, and so many moments that you're just surreal and unreal. But to me, this might be the top, just to be not only have a song with Rakim, but to have the respect from Rakim, for him to come through to a video shoot. Like Rakim actually took the time out from the BET Awards where he's performing with Mariah Carey to come to my shoot and film that video with me, bro. And people were like, that's AI or something. Rakim, how did you get Rakim? I'm like, bro, that's real, bro. We
That
did it,
video
bro.
is dope too.
Thank you, bro. Shout out to Matt Alonzo. He did the Death Blow video, the Not to Be Defined video, the God Sent Me, and the Scalpel video. So I like working with Matt Alonzo a lot. He's great.
Man, yeah, for sure. That's crazy. So why you guys were considered for the Grammys,
Yeah,
but then it didn't happen?
considered for it. Yeah, we didn't get the nomination, but we were considered. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that'd have been crazy, man, to be at the Grammys with Rakim and things. But me and Rakim, built a relationship. Like I said, when I was recently with Chuck D and Rakim, like that conversation was just unbelievable, man, because we were just talking about hip hop. Be like, hip hop was this, is this, and we're gonna continue hip hop to be this. And we're just like, yes. And just like we felt that, I felt that energy with them, and they gave me that salute and that support, just motivation to be like, keep going, keep pushing
Right.
hip hop forward,
What I really love about you, bro, is just that you really pay homage to the people that laid the groundwork for you to be here, for you to be able to be in this position to make music and be as successful as you are. You constantly give back to hip hop in that way. So I just want to salute you for that, bro.
Thank you, bro. No, hip hop is such a big part of my life, man. And the people that inspired me and laid the groundwork for me, man, I forever have the utmost respect for those people, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, man, for sure. And you know, I feel like a lot of times now in this culture, we don't get that a lot. A lot of people don't show respect to the people that laid the groundwork when it wasn't as lucrative as it is now, when there wasn't as much money in it as it is now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's so refreshing to see when somebody like yourself does that. You know who I would love to see you collab with is RJ
Good.
Payne.
That's funny. We actually working on something.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh man,
We
shout out
talked.
to my bro RJ Payne,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. RJ Payne, that's my dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to him and Ransom right now.
Wow, that would be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Definitely bars, endless
Yeah, no,
bars
they both got respect for me, man, and I got a mutual. I got respect, and I just think that'd be crazy to work with both of those guys.
for sure. All right, man. Last question. Does you being a doctor impact your rap career and vice versa? Like, do other rappers not take you as serious, or do patients not take you as serious? Do people come in the studio be trying to get a free consultation, like, yo, doc, my
Mhm.
back hurting? Or do patients come in the office trying to give you, here's my demo, let me kick a 16? Like, you know,
All of the above.
really?
All of the above. Yeah, man, it all happens, bro. It's crazy, bro. Like, first of all, the doctor inspires the influences the rapper, and the rapper influences the doctor. Me being a doctor helps me be a better rapper. Me being a rapper helps me be a better doctor. Believe it or not, it's just the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? They work together in that way, as far as because I'm using different part of my brain each time. So when I'm like in the hospital and I'm like, okay, now I got to transition to Lazarus and become this other person, and I need that balance. But insofar as like seeing patients, I remember I'd be like walking into a patient room and I'm just like, hey, so I want to check on your blood pressure and I want to make sure that your heart rate is good. Your heart rate, you got a little bit of a murmur going, shit, and the patient will stop and just start busting out one a rhyme of mine or something. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like unbelievable stuff like that be happening sometimes, man. And similarly, like, I remember I was doing a show with the Wu-Tang and somebody had passed out in the crowd and they was trying to get a some medical professional, and I just had to jump off stage and take care of something
Oh, shit.
in the crowd. Yeah, exactly. I think there's a clip of that too. Yeah, I actually went, the patient collapsed and I'm like, okay, now I got to transition from the rapper on stage to Dr. Khan in the crowd.
I feel like almost like, you said this in the past, but it's like similar to like Peter Parker and
Hmm.
Spider-Man. You know,
Right.
he's like so intelligent, right? Like as Peter Parker, and then like he goes to being Spider-Man, the superhero and everything, or like Batman and
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, like that
It's
type of
all
thing.
it's definitely that. The alter ego is definitely there. And when I'm a doctor, I'm a really different person than when I'm a rapper. It's just
Right.
it's just a different energy that I give out. So it's not, when you see me as a doctor, you're not gonna be, that's not the same dude that's rapping. That's completely different. And I separate it in that sense. It's like it is like Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah. So that's I mean, like that's crazy. Has anybody tried to give you like their demo or anything, or ask you to be like a feature?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It has happened. Happened even in the hospital when I'm working. It's crazy. I'm like, Johnny, you giving me music, but I never like shun anyone away. I listen to it. I'll be like, yo, let me check it out. I'm not that type of person, man. I always want to, listen to what people got to say. And at the end of the day, I love learning what makes people, like, even like patients of mine. Like, I don't just go in the patient room and be like, oh, I'm gonna treat this. I'll be asking them, Crumb, what makes you happy? Like, what's your passion? What do you like to do in life? Because I like to hear what makes the patient's mental health better. And those things are important to me as a physician. I'm not just in there to give you a pill.
Right. That's dope, man. So how do you balance it? Like, are you able to like take considerable time off to go do the music,
Yeah, I
or
mean, I'm able to make my schedule. I got a good coordinator that I work with as a internal medicine hospitalist. I get to, for like, let's say if like I got shows or shoots coming up, like I'll be like, hey, look, I got to block these days off to do this, but then I could pick up these shifts on it. So it's very flexible as far as like shifts that I could take on and take off.
that's insane, man. That's dope. All right, Laz, man, I just want to thank you so much for your time, bro. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Man, I just want to tell everybody, man, love and respect to everyone, love and respect to all nations. You know what I'm saying? Love and respect to hip hop and the unity that it brings to all human beings. And salute, positive energy, peace. That's Army.